Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Level 1 News. Today is June 29th, and today we're doing government and security stories.
But wait, Krista, you're in the wrong location.
Oh,
Why are you all the way over there?
I don't know.
Oh, I better move you. Oh, better click the right thing. Wait a minute. What's this?
Hi. That was too loud. Hi.
Let's introduce yourself.
Who
so
are
they know
you?
Who you are.
Okay, so I'm an editor for Level 1, right, Amber? And this is actually my last day here.
Oh no!
I know. Now it's going to be Editor Autumn.
Yeah.
Yeah. She seems a lot more, like, talented. She went to school for the... She went to school for it. She has, like, a degree.
It's the other editor that's going to be editing this. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. But yeah, that high at the beginning was probably too loud.
You are transitioning your career from, YouTube editor bozery to actual technical things, which is exciting.
Yeah, so I went from being like video janitor, and I'm going to be a computer janitor and healthcare.
So those of you that got hearts on your posts or responses in the comments, most likely it was her.
Yeah,
It's probably me.
We don't really respond a lot in the comments.
Yeah, I would respond to quite a bit and be like, thank you.
We do on Floatplane and Patreon.
Yeah, sometimes. No, I'm
The
just
class system.
yeah,
And
you're pretty good about it.
now that we have the new tradition, today's no exception, we have a new orange flavored drink. What do we got?
This is Clementine Twist from Sunshine. This is, again, Morgan, the Jägermeister cold brew coffee cup. That's the,
Winthrop Liquors.
Yeah. So, you picked this.
Yes.
I was gonna go. I'll probably switch before the end of the week because there's not a lot here. But you've been eyeing this all week, from what I understand.
Yeah, I would open up the refrigerator. My country accent showing. I would open up the refrigerator occasionally and see it, and I just wanted it.
Is that good?
Yeah, using it in my repurposed boba teacup from lunch.
It has a very mild,
Ooh.
almost grapefruit.
It's very citrusy smelling.
I would expect an orange drink to be.
Vitamin B12 and electrolytes with 100% of my daily vitamin C. I can definitely taste the vitamin C.
Is it soda
love that.
or alcohol?
Soda.
Ah, okay.
I love
Is it
that.
soda or is it one of these, like, water type?
Honestly, it tastes like Flintstones kids vitamins. It's like a mortar and pestle that you ground up into powder and dissolve in water.
That doesn't sound good.
No, it's actually pretty good.
It's
That's high praise.
I really like it. Yeah. It's like the classic taste of drinking orange juice, but I can also feel like I can taste the orange syrup kick along with it. I mean, it's good though. It's good.
What's the sweetener?
It has a decent amount of at lower calories than like half a pop or something, right?
Yeah, 60 calories. So serving size is 1 can. It's got all kinds of vitamins so that you don't feel bad about those 60 calories.
But that's not 12 ounces, is it?
No. 355 milliliters.
I've already had so much B12 today. I just got 100% more.
Vitamin A, 220%.
That's
They ought to go ahead and add zinc and niacin. I mean, come on. But the ingredients: filtered carbonated water, cane sugar. That's what we're tasting.
So it's real sugar.
Better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely delightful.
But that's still pretty low calorie for real sugar.
Yeah, I was going to say it has real sugar in it, but it's only 60 calories, so...
This is a great drink for sipping. This is not a great drink to drink after you've been working on your roof or whatever.
Not a thirst quencher.
Yeah, I was up early this morning working on my roof, and it was already kind of hot and miserable outside. And I came in and I was all sweaty and just nasty. And it was this would not be what I go for. About 2 liters of water later, maybe I would go for this.
It tastes very, I think it tastes very sugary.
Yeah, it definitely does. So,
Like drinking Fanta or something, but not as, chemically tasting.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that, because I think that's how I describe Fanta. It's sort of chemically tasting.
Diesel is what you said.
Yeah.
So what's the letter grade?
This is probably an A-, maybe an A.
Oh, that's
Wow.
I give it that. I give it that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I liked more though. I had one of your it's the Italian oranges.
Oh,
cans?
the orange cream soda?
That was phenomenal. Love that.
Wait, no, you're talking about the San Pellegrino.
That was
Okay,
it. That
oh,
was
yeah.
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which window was like, I'm so happy I still have 6 of those. Little did he know.
Yeah,
That's actually why she's leaving.
that was literally the last one.
Remember you said you saved one for later in a news episode?
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Rip. Rip.
Wow.
All right, we got the news. You gonna stick around for the news?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so
Yeah.
let's get into some government news. And here we have a rare story where the Supreme Court ruled on the side of freedom. So rare. And I haven't met anybody who disagrees with this.
Supreme Court sides with high school cheerleader who cursed online. So this was in a snap circle of friends. It wasn't even posted publicly. She wasn't on school grounds. And the Supreme Court's like, yeah, I mean, there's not a lot here to protect constitutionally, but there's just enough. That whole slippery slope thing, we're not cool with this.
And actually she wasn't, I read the article, she wasn't threatening anything, and she
Yeah.
was not bullying anyone. It was just like, F this, F life, F school, F cheer, and it's like, go you.
More of a rant.
More
than
power to
anything
you.
else.
Yeah, it's more of a rant. Who cares?
Now, they do have, in private schools, there are clauses that you sign,
Yeah.
Yes.
and they can
It's true.
control that. But in public schools, certainly, when you are not at school, the school should have no power over you. But they do in
do
a
a
lot
bit.
of ways.
Yeah. Yeah, the dissenting opinion was like, well, she's a cheerleader. She should be like more standing up for things. It's like, well, it's been a long time since you've known.
Those, you ever look into the truancy laws?
Oh, yeah.
It's really just like, get them here enough to get us our federal money. That's the truancy law.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting to me that it got all the way to the Supreme Court. Is that...
Well, I
Yeah.
think the lower courts went the other way,
Yeah.
so they had to keep appealing.
Yeah. But it's different because I saw also that the Supreme Court is normally not in the favor of the student. They normally agree with the...
This
The
was
school.
This
The
was
school,
a
yeah.
pretty clear-cut First Amendment case, though. So
Yeah.
I mean, it was only the one dissension, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was... Yeah. And there was a justice who was like 80 years old, and he was like, I see no problem with this. And I was like,
Yeah, they're all ancient.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
all... Yeah.
Basically ruled by skeletons. And it's not as fun as you might think it would based on that description. Big tech is maybe big tech could call that a win. I guess Snap could call that a win, right? One of the rare ones. But usually they don't win when they go up against the government. And the government is working night and day. No, they're not actually. They work very little. But when they are working, they're working against big tech.
All-night antitrust debate moves big tech legislation forward. This is past the House now? Is that what this was about?
Yep, and they had the big debates, and one of the big debates that I don't know if we have that story. You know what, Chris? I'm resorting
Oh no.
the Microsoft story. Bring it forward too. But one of
Okay.
the big sticking points here, oddly enough, is who is on the list of big tech.
Yes.
Who gets to be on the list? Now, I would certainly, not based on anything political, but I would certainly put the big M in there, wouldn't you?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're the
Yes.
OG big tech.
They've already been slapped down once.
Yeah, Wintel. I mean, come on. But it seems like the left, for whatever reason, don't think they should be in there. I'm not sure what that's about.
Microsoft should face the same antitrust scrutiny as Facebook, the Republicans say, because they were not in the thing. They're really focusing on the platforms. And this kind of makes sense because Microsoft doesn't have much of a social platform. I'll message you on Bing. Said no one ever.
But this guy's arguing, Jim Jordan is arguing that in every other way, they're exactly like the other big tech companies. So why wouldn't we? And he says he doesn't like the idea that we're actually writing laws with the names Amazon, Google, Facebook in them.
They're not
Instead of-
future-proof at all.
Yeah, instead of just going across the board and be like, everybody plays by these rules.
Right.
Google and Facebook merge into Frugal, and they're
Yeah.
exempt now.
Then they're like, man, we got to make a new law. We got to have an addendum or something.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk a little bit more about the Microsoft side of things with the Windows 11 launch, because there's a lot of cool stuff in there that is maybe antitrust armor against antitrust violations in the Windows 11 launch. It's almost like they preemptively know what's coming. But we'll talk about that in the business section.
Frugal is such a good name for them because frugal means to save money, and they would save a lot of money by stripping away our freedoms and privacies.
They'd actually make a lot of money, not just save it.
You're so eloquent with the way you word things.
Lena Khan, she is the new top dog at the FTC. And, well, I looked a little bit more into her. Whew. So it's a little scary, but she is definitely not on the side of big tech. She is decidedly on the other side, and has not taken long for her to take action.
Amazon's planned purchase of MGM faces FTC scrutiny. The commission secures antitrust review after talks with the Justice Department. Amazon critic Lena Khan takes the FTC's helm. MGM is already kind of a dinosaur. They own a lot of intellectual property.
They want it for the streaming.
Who cares?
They want to put that stuff on their streaming service. That's really, I don't see how that's disruptive.
I don't either. And it's like super against big tech too in a lot of ways.
But I like my free Amazon movies.
Amazon Prime is destroying
yeah,
the environment.
but people go back to this like Prime is evil and you should stop. And, are you on Prime, Amber?
Huh? Yeah,
Prime?
the student thing. Yeah.
You know, we had a hard time getting Krista
yeah.
on Prime.
Wait a minute.
The only reason I have it is because my husband has it.
See?
I wouldn't have it if it wasn't for that.
But are you still a student?
Well, it's
Amazon fraud.
No, you get it for a year
Ooh.
after you're
Yeah.
not a student anymore.
Yeah. Same reason that I still have like my storage from college. It didn't just like delete my like unlimited Drive account. I have it for like a certain amount of time.
I love the cloud providers. They're like, oh, you can count on us to store all your stuff, and then when their business model changes, they're like, you have 3 days, or we're going to remove
Get it
everything.
now.
Yeah. It's just like, come on, guys.
They give you less time than it takes to move that amount of data over your broadband connection because you live in America.
Yeah.
Well, New York was embarrassed, and this is one of those. I put this in the government section because it's not a hack. These are not hacks. Oh, yeah, there's hacks. There's hacks working in the New York IT department.
An internal code repo used by New York State's IT office was exposed online. Oops. They had a GitLab server that they forgot to lock down. Anybody could sign up for an account, and when you requested an account, well, you had access.
And there was some SSH keys in there.
Oops.
Ooh, maybe some passwords and some of that code. So somebody's going to have a busy weekend.
Yeah.
They did blame this on a third party as usual, but can you really? That's not a valid excuse.
You can't blame GitLab for that.
Yeah. No, I don't think they blamed GitLab. It was like another,
Somebody set them up, GitLab.
like a third party company. Yeah.
I didn't do it. He did it.
It's like, you guys are responsible for your own administration.
So,
I know some people that are like, we can administer this, and it's like, you have no idea what you don't know.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Indotronics Avani, a New York-based company with offices in India. So
There
these
it
were
is.
set up in India. Yeah.
There it is.
A guy making $5 a month set that up.
Sorry if you live in India. Are you? Oh, it's that good. Yeah, wow.
I'm sure there's good people in India. I'm not saying that all of the Indian IT workers are bad, but I'm saying that maybe the New York IT department didn't hire the best ones.
It's
Right.
unfortunate because a lot of the people that are working in India are quite capable. It's just that the firms that set this up hire relatively low wage people that don't really, don't have the best opportunity to do a good job setting these kinds of things up.
And let's face it, the best that Indian IT has to offer is not in India. They're in sheds in Silicon Valley with
Or
no
vans.
running water.
Yeah.
And we're so sorry as a country that you're enduring that you came here with, hopes and dreams in your eyes. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for that because you deserve better.
We've been hearing a lot more about the Federal Reserve banks getting into crypto. They're kind of sending some shots across the bow. And it seems like part of that is you want to talk down the competition well ahead of your launch.
Minneapolis Fed President Neel Kashkari calls DOGE a Ponzi scheme. That's how Dogecoin.
I would call it
Yeah.
more of a joke
Yeah.
that people have twisted into something else.
Yeah.
The plaything of a narcissistic billionaire. I would call it that.
Yeah.
So there's some valid criticisms of the Doge.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I was pretty happy of the investment I did, and
What are your crypto holdings right now?
I have it was originally $100 worth of Doge, and now I have 4,000. Just ready to go, liquid.
Oh, wow. Wow, but So you're still holding Doge?
No, I sold like a lot of it.
So because it
But
lost
I have like
30%.
XRP from like 3 years ago.
But you can't sell that on Coinbase.
It's actually like past the. It's called Kraken. Kraken actually. You can hold on to it, and even like people were selling it because they were going to get rid of it, but it rose exponentially in price. And I also have like $2,000 of it.
But you realize there's a court case for fraud going on right now for their founders. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be a little tricky to get that out.
Yeah.
And if, maybe they did something wrong, maybe they didn't, but they are clearly on the wrong side of the law because they're involved in something that the powers that be do not care for. And they are, they might be a little outspoken about it. And that kind of thing, I'm not going to say it's going to get you killed, but it's not going to do you any favors.
The Financial Review has an interesting story. John McAfee, who's found dead in a Spanish prison. And there hasn't,
This is wild.
Well, I mean, it's
Yeah.
McAfee, so it's like, did he fake his own death? I mean, there's a 0% chance of that happening.
He's kind of wild anyway.
I doubt he could organize that in a Spanish prison.
Well, they said like in the article that it was quote unquote everything looked like it was he had killed himself.
But I still haven't seen any details. You see how he actually did it? I have not released that, I don't think.
And there's no,
Well,
did he leave a note? Because he always, he
Well, he would
was-
always like
he was
tweet stuff
tweeting.
like, "Oh, I'll never kill myself." Yeah, like
Yeah.
if I end up dead, know that I didn't kill myself.
He literally got a tattoo that said, whacked. So,
Do you think
Yeah.
that he did that through the phone talking to somebody else, or do they let you tweet from Spanish prisons?
he said it was like a resort, and he was not looking forward to American prison if they were able to, get him extradited. Which,
Well,
They did.
That's the storyline, right?
Yeah.
That's why he did it. But he made a lot of statements about like, you know what, this isn't that bad. I can deal with this. I'm not killing myself. Definitely not killing myself. He used the Epstein name several times in several tweets.
Don't let him Epstein me.
But he was a legendary troll.
Yeah.
And would that
Yeah.
not be the ultimate troll, the ultimate exit troll, is to set up all this belief and then kill
I
yourself?
want to see the surveillance videos. I need some, come on.
I think those we'll find those have been deleted.
Oh, malfunctioned about 10 minutes before it happened. Weird.
It was so weird that all the cameras around the Epstein prison also malfunctioned. That's so weird.
Strange how that happens.
No, it's like Dishonored, and he secretly like snuck out,
He has the
Disarmed?
button.
but he
that a
has
movie?
like it's a video game.
Video game,
Okay,
yeah.
I heard that.
It's like the beginning thing.
So you're
File
saying
it.
he used some sort of superpower to exit the prison? Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying? Okay.
Yeah.
Where's he? What do you think he's doing now?
I think his like consciousness is like stored like a cyberpunk like on a chip that they're gonna, you know what I'm saying?
Wouldn't that be a hell of a thing to train an AI on John McAfee? What would that look like?
Look very chaotic.
Well, we got some bad news coming out of Germany. This is a little bit scary, but at the same time, it's also kind of toothless because it's not a very good way of blocking something, but it is a very overreaching way of blocking something.
Sony has won a pirate site blocking order against DNS-Resolver Quad 9. So the court case here was like, you need to block this site that's pirating information. We don't actually know what site it is. It's not confirmed. Torrent Freak has a guess. But that's a little bit like, preventing, it's like, that there's a cracked in a certain street in a neighborhood. So you go to the map maker and say, hey, don't put this street on the maps because there's a cracked in there.
Do you think we end up at a point where there's like rogue dissident DNS just to get around all this garbage?
Yes. We're
And
already there.
they're constantly trying to take them down?
Yeah, we're already there.
Well, I mean, there are some free ones that are still, I'm sure they're blocking some stuff. Now, Quad 9 has an anti-phishing, anti-malware filter that is automatic. And the German courts were like, well, you've got this. How's it any different? It's illegal stuff. It's bad stuff. We need to filter it. And they're like, I don't like that comparison.
Yeah. It's like this is not in the business of protecting the rights holders' interests. It's in the business of ensuring the integrity of the technology.
It's not in the interest of our customers.
Yeah.
That's the important part, which should always be your number one goal. Europe is just like our Federal Reserve Bank. They're thinking about, hey, how can we get these Fed coins going? We want to be in control of all money, and we want to record all transactions. So how can we work toward that?
European Central Bank can better protect digital payment privacy, the executive board member says with a straight face.
I don't know if I believe that.
That doesn't seem likely.
Has the EU, have they had any data leaks recently?
Oh, a ton.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
We never covered those.
Yeah, they literally said that we're not like a private institution where your data could leak, and we're not like the government where your data can leak. We're the bank. And so they obviously think of themselves as above everything else, which is not a great position to be in to give them more power over transactions.
Well, just kind of putting a target on your back for people like 4chan. They're like, oh, they don't think they can be hacked. We'll see.
Well, I mean, there's already not a lot of anonymity in, like, look at the HSBC, like, Colombia drug deal. There's no anonymity there already, and they still launder money left and right. Basically, nothing came from that. So, what is it going to accomplish except give them more control?
I think that's what they want. More control. There will still be a ton of fraud with it.
There I go, saying the quiet part out loud.
The French are going after some people, and I will admit that, you know, when it comes to the spyware companies, like even Grey Key and Celebrite and all that stuff, I have no love for them. I have no sympathy for them. They're awful. They're monsters, and they deserve what they can get. But this is 100% blaming the gun.
Yeah.
Because you never know where does this go down the line. Can you tell me right now, because I can't say this confidently, can you tell me that nothing that you've ever made with technology couldn't be used for horrible purposes?
Oh, yeah, not at all. Like,
No.
not even a little bit.
Which makes this absolutely terrifying.
French spyware bosses indicted in their role in the torture of dissidents. So they made software that you can, backdoor phones, spy on a phone. There are legitimate purposes that you could have for doing that, maybe. But, yeah. If they do this, think about just encryption.
Well, you got to flesh it out more. They didn't actually torture anybody.
Yeah.
They sold this to Libya and Egypt.
And they torture people.
And then Libya and Egypt tortured some people.
That's not their, like... I don't understand why that would ever get back to...
I think this is the first salvo in a new war on encryption. Like, the only end game I see for this is they don't want people to have encryption, and people are smart enough to know that encryption is good for them. And so they want to go after the people that are making encryption that's powerful enough and doesn't have a backdoor to say, oh, terrorists used encryption, you're responsible.
Well, I think they also want to shield themselves from a private sector that is way better than them at this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can't beat them. How do we stop them? How do we silence them? The chilling effect. And if I were in this business, I'd be pretty cold right now. I think I'd be looking for something new to do. Poland claims that they were recently targeted by some cyber attacks, and you'll never guess who they said it came from.
Poland says that the recent attacks they originated from Russia.
What?
I hope Russia's not planning to annex Poland. That never ends well.
Or Poland.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're. I think they went after the email of the top guy. They did manage to fish some people, and some stuff. Some stuff happened. It wasn't as bad as it could have been, but they're like, yeah, we're pretty sure.
They weren't just telling Putin at G7 to tone it down a bit for nothing.
And speaking of, dystopian governments crushing dissent, Russia is probably number 2. I don't know. Where are we? You think we're better or worse than Russia?
Neck and neck with Russia, I think.
Probably.
Let's say we're tied for second. But number 1 is several lengths ahead, I would say.
China number 1.
Scholars on LinkedIn are being blocked in China without telling them why. It's like, hey, I might want to go do research or work at a Chinese university. And it's like, no, I can't view your resume on LinkedIn.
Are they at liberty to know why? Like, do you have to know why? I don't think they have to tell them why,
The Chinese
right?
government didn't have to tell anybody anything. This guy did say, and it seems pretty obvious, he had worked on a project that had something to do with Tiananmen Square.
Yeah.
And that word was in his bio.
Yeah, I think it's more of like you see it, doesn't matter the context,
Yeah, but there were some other people who were not quite as sure. They're like, I'm not really sure what triggered this, but something about it. They're on a list in China.
It's like a story we're going to have later in the news. Is like, oh, he had the word congressman in his profile.
And congressman.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's is just like one in a very, very long time line of big tech companies doing whatever China tells them.
Yeah.
It's just, oh, you don't like these people? They're gone.
In case you forgot, Microsoft owns LinkedIn. And so just like Apple, where it's like, oh, yes, please, let's bend over backwards to do business with China and not hold up American ideals.
And China made a lot of people sad this week.
A lot of people, not just this week. It's been coming for a long
but there
time.
was a big sad this week. A big percentage of sad.
Bitcoin plunges. This China's Sichuan?
It's not Szechuan, right? That's different.
Province pulls the plug on crypto mining. Some of the pictures that are coming out of there are incredible. There's like 3-level warehouses. It looks like something out of a Bond film. They have like high tension lines running like 8 feet off the ground, and then substations, and yeah, 6,600 pounds of GPUs making their way to Maryland, USA, for $9.37 a kilo. That's some serious GPU liquidation prices. Somebody's going to make a lot of money on that.
Are they? I think it's ASICs, not GPUs.
Oh, is it? Wow.
Because they're mining Bitcoin.
Some of those ASICs, though, are just a lightweight ARM enclosure connected to a jillion PCIe devices in a silver box. So, like, if you take it apart, it's like, oh, these are GPUs.
So, yeah, I guess we're going to get a lot more Bitcoin mining in this country. It's interesting they immediately come here. Would that not be another more friendly nation somewhere? There's got to be a Bitcoin, like a country that's just welcoming it, right?
Well, there may be so much shipping to America, it's less likely to be flagged.
What about the volcano? Was that Ecuador?
Salvador.
El Salvador, yeah.
Salvador.
Yeah, go to the volcano. India has now joined the never-ending group of companies or countries that are going after big tech. This one's weird because they're doing a very specific kind of complaint, which is probably good.
India orders antitrust investigation against Google over the smart TV market. India is starting to worry that too many smart TVs come with Android, and that gives Android Google undue influence over the apps and ecosystem that you run on your Google TV. You have to have a Google account, Google Play. This is the only way to load applications on your smart TV, et cetera, et cetera.
Now, this number boggles my mind. How many people live in India?
Billions. 1.2 billion?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
it's
the
number
most
2,
densely
right?
populated.
How is this? Is this a typo?
About 8 million smart TV sets were sold in India in 2019.
8 million?
That seems like not a lot.
But yeah,
How many hundreds of people would have to watch the same smart TV for everybody to get a look at that?
Maybe somebody in the comments can let us know.
Well, so isn't that more common though in India too? Maybe it's like multi-generational households.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe that.
But why?
I don't know. That just seems low.
But why waste everybody's time with this if you're talking about 8 million households being affected?
Well, in America, like with the 350 million, I'm pretty sure that we sell at least 10 million a year.
It's got to be way more than that.
Maybe.
Because
I
people.
don't know, but TVs are kind of one of those things. Like you buy it and you have it for like several years, and then you don't buy one, and then until it dies, and then you buy another one. So people don't buy a new TV every year.
With more and more devices, it's also less and less likely people buy TVs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever live in like a crappy subdivision of just all apartments? Super Bowl weekend,
Currently, yeah.
every house has a TV box outside. Every house is Super Bowl weekend.
You're right, yeah.
Yeah.
Really? I
People
never
love-
noticed that.
Yeah, people love buying TVs Super Bowl weekend if they're poor.
Because the one they got last year has died and or is way crappier than this year's Super Bowl TV.
Now, if you have the internet in a country other than the United States, I would certainly not blame you for looking at this headline and being like, wait, what? What? How are they allowed to do that? Isn't this supposed to be a level playing field? Apparently not.
Iran alleges that the U.S. State Department linked its news websites. Some of them were seized by U.S. authorities.
State linked is hyphenated.
Oh, okay.
So if the U.S. believed that you were affiliated with the Iran state media, Iran, I'm sorry, you're gone. They just seized it. Seized it from who?
The article made it sound like they weren't 100% sure it was the State Department because they hadn't commented.
The U.S. you mean?
Yeah.
Didn't admit it.
Yeah.
Well, then who did it? Who else has that power?
I wanted to see the actual websites. What, Kristen?
It says they directed Department of Justice.
Well, we're paywalled, but they did list Press TV was the big one.
Yeah.
So that's gone now, I guess. It's got the FBI, you know how the government puts the warning on there when they see something?
That's what I wanted to look at. It's like, is that a crappy imitation or is it real?
Let's look at it.
This is definitely going to get us flagged by the algorithm for sure.
They seize our website next.
Yeah, see, I mean...
This website has been seized. There you go.
Has not any... Okay, are we good with English? No English? I don't know. I mean, these are always so crappy, it's hard to tell.
It's terrible. Krista, how bad is this like gradient that comes down to the logos? And
Oh my gosh.
I can't see it now. I got the paywall, like, as I was scrolling
no,
down.
just go to presstv.com.
Oh, okay.
What's making noise?
Oh,
I don't even know.
it's not even responsive.
Are
It's
you
just a
hearing
JPEG. It's not good for SEO. It's just a JPEG.
Sounds like it's from there.
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess if you're the U.S. government, you can just go wherever you want and steal websites.
I mean,
USA
what
number
does
one.
what does that mean? Seized? Like they just like
They took the domain name.
Yeah, they went to the DNS or something, and they went to the registrar and they're like, "This is ours now."
.com is us. We
no
own
questions.
Yeah.
Period.
But
Full
.com
stop.
is not us anymore. Remember?
this. Yeah, it's international.
Okay, that makes sense.
And in India, they are in a little bit of a war with Twitter. Actually, they're in a war with all the big tech companies because they made these rules and they said, listen, not only are you going to have to do exactly what we tell you, but you must hire someone. And they must interface with us at all times in case we need to tell you something.
It's amazing all of this started over the medicinal properties of cow poop.
And urine. Don't forget the urine. And
Well,
most
very
of the big
important.
tech companies, like China, were like, all right, fine, whatever you want. We'll do whatever you want, except for one.
India slams Twitter for not complying with its new IT rules. Those rules are you got to take these posts down when we say, like immediately, you got to do all this other stuff, and also don't disparage the people that are in power.
Which one was it that they arrested everybody at the local office? Was
Oh.
that Twitter?
No, that was the burger place.
No, it was
Yeah.
a different one. It was one of the social
Oh.
media companies.
Oh
It
yeah.
might have been Instagram.
Yeah, I think that's right.
But Twitter's playing with fire here.
I mean,
Yeah.
hasn't Twitter always like played with fire?
It seems like they're a little bit more idealistic, where they're like, well, we really want to do business here, but we want to try to like bring some of the American culture there, and we don't want to like. Obviously, the whole cow poop thing is like, come on. Meanwhile, Apple's like, yeah, cow poop. I'll take some of
All
my
right,
coffee
yeah.
every morning. Yeah, that sounds good.
Well, one thing about India, you can often hire work to be done in India that's actually cheaper than a computer can do it.
This is amazing, too.
which is incredible because we're working we're trying to build all this AI, but some pragmatic people are like, you know what, we could just hire somebody to do this for like $0.25 a day. Let's just do that.
A CCTV company is paying remote workers in India to yell at armed robbers. The internet is finally good enough that we can do this. So clerks at a 7-Eleven are watching the security cameras. They saw a clerk go over to a fridge and get an iced coffee out and immediately start drinking it. And then a voice came on the loudspeaker that was like, "Did you pay for that?"
Now here's the question.
That's funny.
I suspect, and this is the darkest part of this, they didn't mention this, but this guy, like Stalin, for example, Stalin told his secret police, hey, if you don't bring me X number of dissidents at the end of the week, guess what you are? And so they always found dissidents, whether they had to make it up or not. I bet these guys have a quota.
They probably do.
They gotta chime in and find infractions so often. And if they can't, I bet they start getting desperate looking for infractions.
Yeah, seems likely.
They also pointed out that during a robbery, the God voice came in. It was like, hey, stop doing this robbery. And it worked.
The God voice.
But the guy had a rifle pointed at the clerk.
Yeah,
And-
look at this.
And the other people were arguing. It was like, well, that could have spooked them. And he could have just gunned down that clerk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are we not putting our workers at risk here? Perhaps.
That reminds me of the first
A
time I
wild
ever heard
photo.
a tornado warning. I was in college and I was like, what is this voice? I had no idea.
Oh yeah, they'll like yell.
Growing up in the mountains, I experienced wind the first time coming here, and it was unsettling.
The wind in the mountains.
Not like here.
Yeah, my house is in like a strong wind alley.
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
constantly you're hearing like that the ghost noises where it's blowing through a tiny hole somewhere.
Yeah, mine wasn't. Mine was being hugged by the mountains, and like the wind was on top of the mountains, and it was never like even in tornado season, it was just a mild breeze. And I was like, what's happening?
I have a video of me freaking out about the voice in the sky because I didn't know they did that for tornado warnings. I need to show it to you sometime.
No, the internet would never see that.
The less they know about you, the better.
You talking about the local one?
Yeah, like it's like just all throughout town you can hear it.
Do you know what that's really for?
Tornadoes?
Nerve gas.
No. Yeah.
There's nerve gas out there. You didn't know that?
You don't
ever
know.
seen the
You should
movie
have
The
a
Rock?
radio.
Have you seen The Rock? Sarin VX gas? There's a whole pile of it out there.
And that's to let us know we're going to die.
If you smell almonds, you're in trouble. You know who else is in trouble? These two gentlemen from South Africa. Because this is a story that we've seen so many times before.
There was McAfee.
And it's terrifying because who do you trust? Because you have to use an exchange, right?
South African brothers vanish, and so does 3.6 billion in cryptocurrencies. And there's some investigation going on and some other stuff. But how cool would it be if those guys were like, "We got to get McAfee out of prison"?
The heist
Effect
movie.
is dead.
Yeah.
So what is this trio ultimately going to do now that they've joined forces?
Well, right now they're laying low on a boat.
He did a lot of that. Well, he didn't really lay though. He did press conferences from his boat.
Yeah. But now that Starlink is a thing, I feel like he's missed his golden hour. He could have been doing that from Starlink.
Oh, Musk would dime him out immediately. Musk was like, "There can be only one."
I don't know how he's doing this. He's we're doing a relay through like 6 satellites. We have no idea precisely where he is.
Well, here's an interesting one from Japan. We often see somewhat inconsistent copyright stuff coming from Japan.
Yeah.
On one hand, they don't seem to care about it. On the other hand, they do weird stuff like this.
This seems a little excessive.
And it does seem a lot excessive. Now, they were using copyright material. We got to say that up front. They were violating something. But the response, a little strong.
Yeah. Police arrest 3 for posting 10-minute movie summaries on YouTube. So basically they would take a movie, recut it, and expose all of the plot points and everything else into 10 minutes. And the Japanese court said, if people watch this, they probably are not going to watch the movie. But Krista always reads the Wikipedia articles on stuff.
This channel was made for people like me who want to know the ending before they invest their time in watching something.
People who are wrong. But
It's my preferred method.
you know who else does this just on a smaller scale? Every movie company that makes trailers. Modern trailers tell you the entire movie.
Well, and IMBD does that too, where they put the whole summary on there.
Yeah.
But they're not using copyright material. I mean, the movie companies are, but they own it. So that's what gets you in trouble.
You can copyright elements of the story.
No, but they were using actual movie footage.
Oh, yeah. No, those people. I mean, just where do you draw the line?
Well, they drew it.
Yeah.
Right there, turns out, in Japan at least. We have some data leaks to talk about. We've moved on to the security section, and nothing new here. Just the same story, different names.
ADATA. Oh, no, ADATA. They suffered a 700 gigabyte data leak in the Ragnar Locker ransomware attack. So they got phished, I guess, probably. And some of the data is out there. I haven't really looked into it yet, but apparently it has like NDAs, contracts, parts suppliers.
There wasn't any code, I don't think. They have the names of the files here, but it definitely seems like internal stuff, bookkeeping type stuff. They don't sell directly to customers, do they?
Yeah.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they sell directly to Newegg, who sells directly to customers.
No, but that would because they don't have my information in that situation.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's all corporate stuff. I wasn't sure if we talked about this last week or not. I think it was maybe just a different article. I don't know. This did come out on the 17th. If we did, don't bother telling us in the comments because we're not sure. But this is terrifying. To most people, I guess, they would have to make it so bad that I couldn't shower in it because I don't drink this poison.
50,000 security disasters waiting to happen. The problem of America's water supplies. If you can imagine a community center run by 2 old guys who are plumbers, that's your average water plant, one cybersecurity consultant said. Yeah, we've computerized everything, but we weren't prepared for the security implications of it. This is very true.
Are these digital sharks?
I was looking at them, and I think they are. I think those are shark fins, but they look. I thought they were mouse pointers at first.
Oh, they do kind of look like that, actually.
But the
Like cursors.
it's
Yeah, a little bit.
isosceles, and mouse pointers are not isosceles, are they? Let's look at the mouse
I
pointer.
don't
Oh,
know.
actually, they are.
They are, yeah. They
I've never
absolutely are.
realized it. But yeah, this is a job where you take your old guys who can't get out in the field anymore, and you're like, hey, go look at those lights all day long, drink some coffee. But maybe it's a little more serious than that now.
We can't mess with the formula too much, or it lets the lead loose in the water. Never mind, the Romans knew that lead was bad for you. We still made pipes out of lead.
They didn't know it first. They learned the hard way, and apparently we've forgotten their sacrifice.
This is kind of tied into the one in the nonsense section about California. I'm excited to get to that one.
Are you talking about the dirty water?
Yeah,
Don't worry about it.
You're doing the
we'll
window
get there.
foreshadowing.
We'll get there. Foreshadowing.
Ring. You remember when Ring decided that they wanted to really get in bed with the cops? I mean, really get in bed with the cops? Well, it was actually a little worse than we thought.
It turns out that Ring has tried to recruit influencers from among the police force, and they've seeded a bunch of Ring cameras to them to try to get them everywhere.
And not only that, giving them cameras is one thing. Giving them affiliate codes is quite another. They had an email in here that they subpoenaed, and it was like, dude, you're so close, 11 more units sold on your code, and you get everything we sell.
Wow.
So it worked. It was a good move, if a terrible, like morally bankrupt move, but an excellent marketing move. And Peloton, that's a hot new name in home fitness. They've had a bit of a problem lately. One of their treadmills ate a child. And if
Right.
you're going to be in the fitness industry, you definitely don't want your equipment killing children. So they've said to themselves, we have an upgrade, and it's going to fix everything. But it definitely did not fix everything.
A new problem for Peloton owners: hacks. They want you to subscribe to their service now. So you have a treadmill, but the treadmill will not operate unless you're paying a monthly fee.
That's actually a different story.
What?
This story
Oh.
is about the fact that one of the components, I think it's the screen.
Oh, you can spy on people. Yeah. Sorry, I got
Yeah.
mixed up.
And why do our treadmills and our bikes have cameras in them?
Oh, it's for the personal trainer thing. So like your personal trainer can
Yeah.
come in and give you encouragement.
But I should be able to see my trainer. Why does the trainer need to see me? To make sure that I'm actually doing what they're
Yeah,
screaming at me?
probably.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's that personal session, It's that personal
The
experience.
personal touch, yeah.
Yeah.
It was not engineered with any kind of security in mind. So.
No, it wasn't.
This is the Bike Plus. This is actually in public places.
Yeah.
So this is, I guess you rent time on these. Do you know what the business model is? Maybe it's like for if you're-
I've used one of these before in a public setting.
how did you get on it? Like,
Well, I had a membership, so I just kind of used it.
so it was like a gym somewhere?
There's
Yeah.
probably video of you that's just forever stored somewhere.
Yeah.
So if you use one of these in a public place, they're saying that that's probably even more dangerous. They all have the flaw, but the ones in the public place would be easier to get to, obviously. So take a little piece of tape with you when you go to get on the public Peloton and put it over the camera.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I don't see why they would have a camera.
Or just drape your towel over it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
It's like,
Drape your
I
towel.
just want to use the
Inconspicuous.
exercise bike part of it. I don't need to talk to anybody.
Or if you want to be just slightly less morally good for your gym, get yourself a little pocket knife and dig that out of there. Put it in your pocket.
No one's gonna know.
Watch out for cameras, though.
How would they know?
Colonial paid the ransom. Didn't Toshiba pay the ransom?
Yeah, that
think they
other
all
pipeline
do.
company paid the ransom.
Another gas
Yeah.
pipeline. There were like 3 more in the past month.
Yeah, it's really profitable.
A lot of people paying the ransoms. And the FBI supposedly is begging them, please don't do that. And maybe this is one of the reasons.
Cybereason, 80% of orgs that paid the ransom were hit again. Yes.
Surprising no one.
When I have to clean up after one of these, I always am like, by the way, this is going to happen again, so don't think that you can't not spend money. And they're like, what?
But I'm shocked that, do you think they're trying to spend the money to add prophylactic measures?
No.
or they're just paying it and being like, "God, that's over."
Yeah. That's exactly my personal experiences are. That's exactly how it goes.
There is no long-term view. That's someone else's problem in the future.
That is exactly right.
That's not a it's not a reasonable way of thinking though. Like if it happened, if you were vulnerable enough for it to happen once, why would it not immediately happen again?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's so many people out there that don't even realize what they don't know. I mean, they're just like, I'm just going to put my NAS on the internet without taking any other security precautions or doing anything. And it's like, well, I mean, that's fine now, but eventually that's going to be a problem. And you've drawn attention to yourself by being victim to these things in the past. So being scrutinized twice as hard. So,
man, you know what I'm glad about? I'm glad that next week I don't have to start a new job where I could easily be blamed for something like this. I mean,
Nervously laughs.
What if I were going next week to work for a company that I'm absolutely confident has nothing in place for this?
They probably don't.
And this is a weird headline because, man, I think my memory's faulty. I keep remembering when everybody said this would never happen. They just kept telling me this was impossible.
California offers a digital record if you've got your human anti-malware installed. It's an electronic record, so you can very easily, you don't have to have your card, you can verify it online.
Why would we need that?
Well, because people are making fake cards.
I think the answer is because they want to exclude people.
Well, ultimately, yes. But, in the exclusion, it's like, here's your card.
I lost my card and no one has ever asked me for it.
That's probably good. They're not supposed to. You can volunteer it, but...
Yeah, like no one has ever...
But you're in a red state.
Yeah.
In California, it's going to be way different.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
I read this story and all I could think about was the booming God voice Indian thing.
Yeah. Coming soon. Well, you know what I thought about? I thought about the park benches with spikes on them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Because
yeah. That's sad.
What is the park bench with spikes version of this? And how long does it take to get there? I think a short amount of time. I don't know what it looks like, but it'll be bad and it won't take long to get there.
Smart street furniture in Australia, public surface or surveillance and advertising tool. So this is smart street furniture. Here's a pole, traffic light, whatever.
I think it might be a street light.
It's in Australia. And so it's like these are providing kind of a two-way deal. Look, they're enjoying things. This is definitely not a drug deal happening.
This is definitely not recording their conversations and, sending the keywords to Amazon. They did some on the street interviews. So a lot of people, this is a phone booth. And they were like, hey, do you ever use the phone booths? And the people looked around and they were like, I just see the kiosk. I don't.
It's an ad. I just block it out.
It's an advertising kiosk. And they're like, no, you can go inside there. You can use a phone. I had no idea. Thought it was just for advertising.
Payphones.
What? Where? What?
Australia, Sydney.
Oh. That's insane.
I don't know what's smart about this one.
Well, they put the brackets in because people were sleeping on it.
Well, that's like the spikes.
Yeah.
If you're homeless, how do you take advantage of smart furniture?
I saw one that it was a bed of spikes, so they had a sheet of plywood. They just put the plywood over the spikes and then...
Yeah.
Also, remember those stories about the charging stations that were popping up in New York, and they were all just infecting your phone as soon as you plugged in?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Bad stuff's going to happen with those. I'm looking forward to reading about it.
In order to charge your phone, please install this app. What?
And our final story fills me with such dread.
Yes.
Because I feel like, this is a funny, who would agree to that now? But in 10 years, I don't think this will be optional.
Probably not.
Yeah, and I'm going to hate this.
Woke up sweating. Some Texans are shocked to find their smart thermostats were raised remotely. Now, this is an energy-saving program they opted into to save $1 or $2 on their...
They didn't know they were opting into it. It was default. By default, you opted into this. And the only thing you get in return, like I might be thinking, all right, you're going to save me 10% a month? Maybe I'll do that. You got entered into a sweepstakes. That's
it?
all you got.
That's it.
Yeah.
Around here, you get a few bucks a month.
That's not worth it.
No.
And so when the grid gets really, really busy, as we know Texas had a bit of a problem with there in the first part of the year, they just turn it up or down.
I mean, in this country of, plenty and overrun and Amazon warehouses shredding hundreds of thousands of items a day, why do we have an electricity shortage in Texas?
I think
They have their own grid.
It's been well established at this point.
Yeah, it has, but there's still no excuse for it because it's like we have, like, there's just energy is just such a basic thing. How do we screw that up?
We eliminate competition.
And we don't invest in it at all.
And then we let them do whatever they want once they're the monopoly.
And then you have to suffer because thermostat.
Well, they pointed out too that it's not just a matter of like, oh, you're going to be kind of hot and sweaty. It can be a matter of safety if you have people who are very old in the home or like infants who can't really regulate their body temperature.
Yeah.
Right.
So
You ever rent like a cabin or something and you go and they've got central air, but they got that little plastic notch so you can't turn it all the way down?
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like, come on, guys. You think I can't take the faceplate off? Who are you stopping here?
All right. What do we got for tomorrow?
Just can't do that here.
What?
Business and something. I don't remember. I've pre-sorted this week.
Is the capture messed up, by the way?
oh, I froze for a second. Looks like.
Oh, yep.
Hang on.
Okay.
Boop.
No, not your capture. I think
I
we're
back?
not like all the way in the thing.
What?
Is that on purpose? Or are we?
I'm not.
Oh,
following.
is it just black over there? Because of the curtains? Or not curtains.
You talking about over here?
Oh, see, it was black. I thought it was like cropped or something. It was like weird. I don't know.
Get a hold of yourself, Amber.
It's way different on this side.
It's hard to see from that seat. It's so far away. It's hard to read what's happening on the screen.
I didn't see the purple light. I just saw the dark background and thought it was cropped.
You want to try to do a Krista goodbye?
Yeah.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
You go like, bye, right?
Yeah.
Is that a good mimic?
I'll give it a 7.
You gotta go longer and higher, as high as you can
Show her,
go.
Krista. Show her for tomorrow.
As high as I can go?
Yeah. Bye!
Bye!
There you go.
See you tomorrow.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the news with Amber this week. This is her last week. Today's June 30th, and today we're doing, I immediately forgot, social and business.
We said it like 3 times, like hyping ourselves up which categories it was, and then none of us
Yeah, you
remembered.
forget as soon as the camera turns on every time.
Yeah.
And we've got an exciting new orange soda. That is a lot of orange soda.
This is 1 liter of orange soda. This is Teddy's Orange and Cream. So this is kind of in a category by itself because there's 380 calories in this. First of all, it's basically just liquid sugar. This is not something that I would drink every day. This is actually really good over like vanilla ice cream. So you can make a vanilla orange float, and there's vanilla in it.
I think Teddy might be a Civil War soldier.
He does look at. I mean, you probably have to go check, but he looks vaguely Civil War or possibly prospector.
What side, though? What side of the Civil
I think
War?
it's the hat.
I think the hat. I think it's actually the coat. The hat doesn't do it for me. The hat just. The hat says prospector, but.
So do you think he was out there in California panning for gold when he discovered orange and cream?
Yeah, I was just drinking rust water. That's all it was.
Someone found him and decided he should be the face of orange cream soda.
All right, well, let's get into it. Let's find out.
This is like drinking Oreo centers. It's great.
Drinking Oreo centers.
Good description.
I love sugar too much.
We all do.
Not a lot of
Yeah,
bubbles
we're
in this
American.
one.
We'll give it a second. See it? See how it's got like that's a retention. There you go.
Not very carbonated.
But it's got the cream. You smell the cream before you smell the orange, and that's just great. You know you're going to be in for something good when that happens. Oh my gosh, there's so much sugar. It's literally like drinking. You almost don't even taste the orange.
That was worse than the last one. The last one.
Oh, you don't like it?
Tasted very. No, I thought the last one was very good. I meant the sugar. Like I thought the last one was very sugary, and
No, this is over the top.
yeah, that's a lot.
Well, how much sugar for the whole bottle?
380 calories.
No, sugar.
Yeah, sugar content.
93 grams.
That's a lot.
And I'm assuming it's
Gosh.
not pure cane like the last one either.
Yeah, it is 186% of your daily recommended values.
It's probably corn syrup and not actual sugar too.
Ugh.
Carbonated water, high fructose corn syrup.
There it is.
No,
acid.
why didn't you tell me? I wouldn't have drunk it.
But it's funny because these used to actually be more sugary. Like there was even more sugar in these than that.
Oh my goodness.
It also has sucralose in it. So they've
Wow.
cut the sugar content dramatically with the more expensive sucralose, if you can imagine.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Healthy.
Crazy.
All right, well, let's give it a letter grade.
This isn't a class by itself. This is not something that I would drink regularly because I don't want to die. But it is also a little too rich. Like, I mean, if you have like 2 or 3 of these in a day, you basically like pass out. So
Well, let's see, that would be 500%?
yeah, it's a little bit of diabetic coma land.
I'm gonna give it. I probably wouldn't even drink it or eat it with the ice cream or whatever because that's even more sugar. I'd probably give it a D.
Wow.
Yeah.
I give it pretty high marks for being sugary, but it is kind of in a class by itself, and it is best with vanilla ice cream.
Well, no, but judge it as if it were
As if it were like one of the drinks.
in the containers, yes.
Probably like a B minus.
It's interesting.
I want something that's orangey. Like it's an A plus in terms of like sugar rush and a good flavor and blah blah blah. But for like
Endorphins.
but for like a regular
No, that's a good question. Do you find just high sugar without any like nuances, just like hit you in the face with sugar, is that heavy endorphins?
oh yeah,
Okay.
M&Ms, yeah,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, M&Ms are good.
yeah. So it's like
We haven't had any M&Ms in a while.
it's an A for endorphins, but it's probably like a B minus for everything else. It is. If you're into orange cream soda, it is a very good orange cream soda.
But Amber brought up the brand that you liked.
Which one?
Orange cream soda.
You just mentioned it before.
The
Philosophy.
starts with an S.
Stewart. So is that right?
Yeah,
Stewart?
yeah.
So what letter grade? Like, how do you compare this to that? Because you said you like that.
I mean, but I do like Stewart's better than that. But I also have to say that Stewart's is not. I haven't had a Stewart's cream soda in like months because of the same problem. It's just overly sweet and bleh. Like I'll drink a bottle and I'm good for like a few months. You know what I'm saying?
It is crazy they cut this with sucralose. I mean,
Yeah.
this probably was like 500 calories before. And they were like, "Oh, you want us to put that on a label?" Oh, yeah. Just never mind.
Yeah.
I bought these cookies by accident. I didn't realize they were like keto protein cookies, which is nonsense. There's no such thing. But it was like, oh, hey, and they do that whole net carbs thing. Do you know that scam?
Yeah.
Where
No.
it's like they subtract fiber and some other things.
What it's like your total carbs minus the fiber, and then that's your
and sugar alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And you're wondering, like, what is sugar alcohol? It's called like erythritol or something like that. So I ate it, and it was very low. Like, it didn't have a lot of sugar. And I was like, wow, these cookies are great. They don't seem to taste like they have a lot of sugar. And then I was like, I read the label, erythritol. I can't remember. It starts with an E. And I went and Wikipedia'd it, and I was like, oh, look at that. Look at that long line of side effects. There's a lot of these. And about 5 hours later, it felt like I had a gas turbine engine operating at full RPM in my lower colon.
I thought is erythritol isn't it fine? I'm probably mispronouncing it. Isn't it fine though?
I'm telling you.
I thought it was better than sucralose.
I don't know. I think it's from stevia. We're getting deep in
I think they get it from monk fruit.
sugar,
Lore.
artificial stuff, but it's it doesn't count as a sugar because it is a sugar alcohol.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I thought sucralose is so artificial that it just passes through your body completely with no interaction.
I don't think anything does that.
Yeah, I think you try to get something out of everything you eat.
We need to contact a dietitian. Ask someone.
It doesn't exist because it's right-handed sugar instead of left-handed sugar. As all of our stuff is left-handed.
But also, those cookies subtracted for every gram of that stuff.
Yeah.
So they acted like it counteracted real sugar, which makes no sense.
I mean, I don't know.
It's like the Olestra of sugar.
I hear good things about it though.
You know what? You should try some Quest cookies.
If you need to get going in the morning, instead of coffee, you eat some of those cookies.
I don't think it's that it counteracts it. I think it's just that it.
It's marketing garbage, is what it is. Obviously.
Our top story this week is Windows 11 because the UFO story wasn't out when we were recording this. That's going to be next week's top stories.
Yeah, Windows 11. Now, we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks, but Microsoft had not officially said it was coming. Everybody knew it was.
Yeah.
But they have now officially told us that it's here and we have some details about it.
It's going to be generally available by the holidays. They've got an update tool that you can download that gives you an obtuse error like your brand new computer with a 6-core processor and a 3070 can't run, and doesn't tell you why. Although they are updating it to tell you why, or maybe by the time this is out it actually does tell you why. But usually it's because it doesn't have an encryption chip. They've changed the visuals. They put a lot of polish on it.
It's in the middle.
Yeah.
Terrible.
The taskbar is in the middle.
Chrissy, you've kind of
You
already...
can change it. Yeah, we did a story about it last week.
You've kind of
You
already
can change that
commented.
setting, but
Now,
sorry. what?
some of the things that you might not like about it, the Windows Store is far more featured here. And one of the cornerstones of Windows 11 that everybody loves so much, Microsoft Teams. Full,
Ew.
I thought you were going to say Microsoft Accounts, because that also features heavily.
that's a different story. So one of the good things that may be coming from this, although I can't imagine what I would use this for. Can you think of any use case that you care about?
Yeah, actually, I can. I'll explain. Microsoft announces Windows 11 is going to be able to run Android apps. Microsoft says Windows 11 can run Android apps locally. This is going to be through Amazon Store, so Microsoft is, if Google comes after them, they're also going to have to come after Amazon. That's using Amazon as a corporate shield, basically, in case there's running afoul of patents or whatever. They didn't say if this is going to be ARM emulation on Windows or native x86, because native x86 Android is a thing you can do, and it's a thing, and blah, blah, blah. But this is not all that surprising, because Microsoft has their Hub application, which you run on your Android phone, and then it forwards notifications and blah, blah, blah. Apple has got the ecosystem of like Apple phone plus Mac plus iPad and like messaging and all that stuff. They've got that really locked down to have it be a cohesive experience, and Microsoft is chasing that with all of this.
So here's TikTok, and it's just, it runs looking
side.
like the phone in this little container.
Yeah.
But that is actually the Android app running.
Yeah, I think really the way that they could nail this is by basically having it be like remote access to your phone. So like if you could have your Android apps running on a phone, but have it be like on the side, so you could use the touchscreen on your phone if you want to, or use the mouse or the keyboard or whatever. That might be interesting.
You never said the use case.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think having notifications and text messages and like all of the communication functionality of the phone running through a desktop when you're near a desktop would be a far less infuriating experience for using the phone, because I don't have all the messaging stuff on all devices everywhere. And then so it's like when I'm having to deal with somebody on the phone and juggle also my desktop computer or whatever, I'd like to just do all that in one place.
I guess, can you load those default apps through the Amazon store, like messaging and all that stuff?
Probably.
I don't know if you can.
Well, the Windows Hub app already takes care of forwarding text messages and stuff like that. So if you use that, you're already halfway there.
Well, that seems like it's even more useless then, based on that.
Well, yeah. Depends on what apps you got.
And this, some of you might be saying to yourselves, they already do this. Now, in the current version, if you just simply unplug all the network connections and wait,
It's like, all right.
it will eventually give up. We do not know yet if that will be true of the next version, but we do know they will be continuing to do the same awful thing.
Windows 11 Home will require a Microsoft account and an internet connection at setup. I've noticed the Windows Store apps are like, hey, you should sign in to download this. And I'm just like, no. And it's like, all right, I'll download it anyway. But it doesn't do that with every app. Some apps, it's like, no, you really have to sign in. It's like, no, I'm really not going to. It's like, well, I'm not going to give you the app. It's like, all right, fine, I'll go install it from the command line.
That Xbox subscription for the games, like you'll install a game normally, and it's like, oh, this is the Win 10 version. I'm like, well, what's the difference between the Win 10 version and the other
It's worse.
one? Well, it pops up and it's like,
That's the difference.
do you want to allow, whoever THQ to access your Microsoft account? Of course I don't. And then you
No.
click no, and it closes the game.
Yeah. Oh, we encountered that trying to benchmark Gears of War. Gears of War's got really amazing variable rate shading. And it was just so onerous to deal with the account starting it up. It was just like, I can't, this is just, come on, this is stupid. It's so hard for me to automate this.
Wait, are you telling me that it's not going to be like sign in later like you can do right now? It's just going to make you
Yeah.
like right at the front?
Or
Yeah.
close.
It's going to be a lot of that probably.
That's lame.
Yeah.
And when a company has that level of control over everything that you do in their ecosystem, the last thing they want to do is give it up. And they will take some real mental gymnastics to try and explain to you why it's better for you if they do that.
Apple says third-party app stores would open iPhones to scammers. They've obviously not really gone too deep in the existing Apple App Store because, oh boy, there's a lot of scammy apps on the App Store.
They say no. That's only Android. It's only the Wild West.
I'll admit it's much worse on Android, but my God.
So yeah, this is the old epic lawsuit, more stuff. You know, people's like, oh, you got to open all this up. And they're just like, no, that would be terrible for our customers. They don't want that. And AMD, maybe some good news for those of us who are still using some old legacy video cards because, you know, chip shortage. AMD has some new technology, and it goes pretty far back into some of the older devices, which is nice.
AMD Fidelity FX Super Resolution tested of pixels and performance. We also tested Fidelity FX. It's really awesome.
We did.
So FSR performance mode and native mode and balanced and, you know, all kinds of stuff. Basically, it's just fancy technologies for rendering less pixels, but then upscaling the pixels that you've got and making an image that approximates like as if it would have rendered a full resolution. So it's like you get a generational bump on your GPU without really a lot of visual degradation.
Yeah, so I edited the video, so I basically know all about it because I listened to your masterclass about it. And it's unique because it puts it in the GPU's like
Render pipeline.
Render pipeline. That's unique, right?
No, well, I mean, it's kind of unique in that they can shove more stuff in the render pipeline later, which is really cool. Because this is kind of a 1.0 technology. It's nowhere near as bad as DLSS 1.0 was, so there's that. But, you know, there's more, right now more games have DLSS 2.0, and, you know, there is an argument to be made. It's like, well, DLSS 2.0 might be a little bit better, but this runs on everything, which is probably better long-term. And it also runs on consoles. That Microsoft event for Windows 11.
And it's open source.
They did a developer thing, and they were like, oh, by the way, consoles are going to run this now, too. It's like,
But the game does have to be optimized for it. So
Yes.
you can't, it's not like it's just going to work with your entire library. They have to go back and add support for it.
But it's trivial to do. Apparently, like Dota 2, they added that like the day or two after the press release, which is like, couldn't you just waited? And then, what was it? CSGO. They dropped it for CSGO as well.
Wow.
It didn't take any time. So
They're still updating CS:GO.
they make a lot of money on CSGO.
Big
Yeah.
business. Those, the weapon skins? Yeah.
They said that Far Cry 6 was going to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say a lot of games will have it going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah, new
Why
games.
wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Well, Amazon has won against, I would call them a patent troll, right?
Definitely a patent troll.
They did have a patent, but it was a little older
Yeah.
and probably not about this specific thing, because here's the caveat. This had not been invented yet.
Amazon wins trial over technology to order groceries with Alexa. So this originally the patent was a camera on the side of a fridge. I had a barcode scanner on the side of my fridge in college, which probably would qualify as some kind of prior art for this as well. But ultimately, the trial was like,
They had that as well.
yeah, it's like this is not, we can't. Well, the patent is way after when I had that in college.
A lot
And,
of people had that.
Okay, well, whatever. But they did the patent thing, and it was like, no, this doesn't. You can't claim prior art for this because they kept amending their patent application after the fact when products would enter the market. And so they would say, oh, yeah, this thing that Alexa is doing is what we were talking about 20 years ago. And it's like, well, that's not the same at all.
So Amazon won.
Yeah.
Good job,
Yeah.
Amazon lawyers. I don't even feel bad about them winning a court case for once. But do you feel bad about this? Now, I do understand, like, if you're somebody who makes a product, a high-end product, this is maybe a necessary evil. But God, it's hard to defend it, especially in the shortages that we're living in right now.
Amazon labels millions of unsold products for destruction, a new investigation finds. Amazon was immediately responding to this, and they said, no, that was not a landfill, that was a recycling center. And we also are going to donate a ton of products and that kind of thing. So some suppliers, they say, don't want their products back when Amazon doesn't want them in their warehouse anymore. So it's just like, all right, destroy them.
I remember probably in the 90s, I guess, our local Walmarts had this big thing where they were destroying clothing.
Oh, yeah, that was a big
Yeah.
scandal.
And people were like, how are you just destroying this clothing? We have people who are cold. We have people who need this. And they explained they had a terrible problem with people emptying the dumpster, driving to the next town, and returning all the clothes to the other Walmart. And that worked. So they had to do something about it.
Couldn't just, requiring a receipt do 90% of that?
I think
Instead of destroying the clothing.
I think they figured out a way to, like, they would steal it from the dumpster, figure out what it was, buy a copy of it, then use that receipt to return it, and then sell the copy. Like, they worked hard at it.
What an incredible level of fraud.
And
What an incredible level of waste.
And an amazing amount of time to spend on something that probably didn't net that much money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, no actual, well, I guess it did take effort.
I
Yeah,
feel
it
like
took a
that's
lot
the
of effort.
overarching thing, the amount of effort you had to put into that versus what you got.
Well, what you got was meth.
In that part of the country, ripping off the man, that you can get a lot of energy out of that. It might be like net positive.
That's probably true. Plus, you're at Walmart. You go over to they used to have the little cafes in there. You get yourself a soft pretzel. Make a day out of it. It's more fun than sitting at home, right? We had Amazon Prime Day. Wendell, you weren't here. Did you make any Prime Day purchases? We were talking about this earlier. I bought a
I didn't
TV for
either.
my parents.
No,
I didn't either.
Yeah, but I don't feel like it was a big event this year. Did you?
Groceries? I got groceries that just happened to be that day.
Did you get a Prime deal on it? But a lot of people did use it. Obviously, the sales go way up on that day. And then in the following week, which is what we're living in right now, guess who gets to suffer?
Amazon tells drivers endorphins are your friend at Amazon Prime Day. Oh, that's a little... Come on, Amazon.
They don't tell the drivers that. They tell their industrial athletes that.
So if you're an Amazon driver,
Industrial athletes.
you got this lovely little card as you started your day.
Thank you. Don't forget you're on the clock.
And it's basically telling you to work harder, you stupid pleb.
Don't skip breakfast.
The best one on
Stay
here...
hydrated.
Yeah, stay hydrated is the best one because obviously the joke is peeing in a bottle.
Teddy's is not going to help you stay hydrated.
But even if you're
No.
drinking good old water, you still have to eliminate a large portion of it.
Well,
And,
if you have to pee, you didn't sweat hard enough, and therefore you're not working hard enough.
You got to sweat so hard that your bladder starts to release fluids back into the system.
I've been told that can happen when your body's in extreme duress, but I don't think that's true.
Well, there's that survival guy.
Oh,
He
yeah.
took a more roundabout. And this is probably some of the worst news. You know what? Bezos was sitting back looking at, like, just watching his counter tick up
There's a
on Prime
blinking
Day.
LED just for this.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm thinking it's like a 7-segment numeric display. Well, it'd be more than 7, wouldn't it? And he's just watching his riches go up, and then the alarm goes off for this. He's stroking his long-haired cat, and he just grips its fur. Like, no.
That's
His
crying.
Himalayan Persian.
Teamsters aim to step up efforts to unionize Amazon workers. Not content with the failed unionization bid in Alabama, they are expanding their efforts.
Now, in Alabama, if you'll remember, the Alabama team, they were like, our tactic here, we're not going to fight Amazon on a national level. We're just fighting them in this one town in Alabama, and we think we can win. They didn't even get close. It was like 70%, right?
Yeah.
And so the Teamsters are saying, all right, we're not taking that approach. We're going full court press all over the country all at once.
It wasn't in the Como News article, but I meant to add a link to the other article. There was another article that was talking about this. They actually obtained a memo from Amazon that said that the rate at which they're going through the warehouse workers and the delivery workers, there may not be enough people to employ to do those jobs because there's a finite number of people that are looking for those kinds of jobs.
What about, are they assuming that they never get a rehire?
They're assuming that the rehire rate is low,
Constant?
or that the reason that they were fired is because they just can't do the job.
Well, that's the big thing right now, right? I mean, I'm seeing news headline after news headline of apparently people just don't want to work anymore. I don't know if that's propaganda. I don't know what they're trying to do if that is propaganda, but...
I think they're trying to just force people back to work. They're like, stop doing this. Go back to work for your pennies and be happy, pleb.
Did you see that California is forgiving rent for a bunch of people? I feel bad for the people that depleted their savings.
For everybody, right?
If you're behind on your rent or you need forgiveness, they'll give it to you. Which that seems good from a humanitarian standpoint, but I feel really bad for the people that depleted their life savings in order to not be in that situation.
How about from a tax standpoint?
Well, they had a surplus. California had an insane surplus in tax income this year, so that's what they're using it for.
But yeah, I'm sure there's no better place to put that.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, like, what about upgrading their electrical infrastructure or firefighting crews or
More desalination
no.
plants, because we're gonna need that's foreshadowing.
That ain't going to get you any votes,
no.
Krista. This is directly translating into votes. You're buying votes. That's what they're doing. And it's going to work absolutely well.
I think people want places that aren't on fire too, though.
The goats.
Yeah. The goats. That's what they should do. They should forgive your rent and give you a goat.
This is your responsibility. If the goat
We're
ever
really
dies,
going back to
you got
feudalism.
to pay back your rent.
That's
Give
the
you a
difference
goat.
between I don't know what year that was, but 50 years ago it was 40 acres and a mule. Now it's a quarter acre and a goat.
Yeah.
Would you be happy with a goat, Ryan?
What do you mean by that? Happiness? Matrimony?
Do you want one? Goat?
Yeah.
Particularly.
I think it would be a lot if they were like, here's your cabin, here's your 5 acres, here's your goat, and Amazon Prime delivers there. It'd be fine.
Goats are
And Amazon Prime delivers.
goats are a very salty animal. Like they don't tolerate your crap.
Yeah.
No,
Hard
they're
to be
kind of
friends
mean.
with a goat.
We used the goats to keep the hillside in check growing up. I had a lot of bruises.
They also climb trees.
Yeah.
They'll
climb
eat anything.
That's their value. Little garbage disposals. But what you don't want to feed your goat. Now, I'm not a veterinarian, but I'm willing to say this. Do not feed your goat Uber Eats.
Definitely.
That's going to be bad for it. They'll eat it.
It's probably not even really human food.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't be feeding your kids that either. But once in a while, we all like a good fast food meal delivered to our doorstep. But what you might not realize is when you're ordering from Uber Eats, they might play with the numbers a bit.
Uber Eats adds a pricing disclaimer that has been requested by the attorneys general. So the attorney generals of some states were looking at this and saying, hey, this is kind of misleading because it makes it seem like the restaurant is charging this money, but you're actually charging this money. And they're like, okay, we'll add a pricing disclaimer that no one will read.
But only in those 2 states. Not anywhere else, although it's true everywhere.
Yeah.
They do mark those up. There is apparently, for a while there, I was looking at the Instacart subreddit because I was curious about that whole world. And there's a lot of discussion there about how to tactfully refuse the receipt to the customer because the receipt will let them prove that they're overcharging. And Instacart does not tolerate that. Yeah. Peloton, we talked about earlier, they have had some troubles. They have decided to patch a security bug by sending out an over-the-air patch. I don't think you can opt out of it, but it adds a very interesting requirement to your treadmill.
Peloton Treadmill Safety Update requires a $40 a month subscription. We talked about this in the government section. I got ahead of myself. But yeah, this is following the death of a toddler. So if you want to just, turn it on and use it as a treadmill, ain't happening. Now, I could be a crazy person, but don't treadmills have the little strap that you put on your wrist and it won't come on if the little thing is in there? Why do they not have that? Isn't that required by law, basically, as a safety device?
I don't know if it's required by law or not.
You put the thing on your wrist and then you're running, and then when you pull out if something happens, it pulls out the red thing and it stops.
But you don't have to use it.
Well, you can just leave the red thing in all the time.
Right.
Yeah. That would be the parents' fault then if something bad happens.
Oh, no. Never
This
the
is
parents' fault.
this is just a way so they can turn on. This is probably built in when they first developed it, where this is eventually going to be a subscription, and they're just using this as an excuse.
No, you're absolutely right, Krista. But the way it worked before is that all the programs and the live stuff and all of that was the subscription, and there was a feature called Just Run.
Yeah.
Which is it's like just be a treadmill, and with this update, that has been removed without the subscription.
Oh,
so basically, the
surprising no
treadmill
one.
just will not operate.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you pay so much money for that, you would. I mean, what's wrong with it just working?
They don't get
Because
$40
everything
month.
is a subscription now.
It might shoot another toddler.
Yeah. Oh well. If you don't know what happened, so if you take a look at the Peloton here, it's very artsy, and
Oh, okay.
this thing actually can lift up, and that part down there is it just loves to kill children and puppies. Like it can't wait to suck one under there and skin it, basically. And one kid died, so they had to do something.
You'll own nothing and like it.
But the decision they made was the most money grabbing decision they could have.
Never let a crisis go to waste.
The 40-cent red tab, the red safety tab, would have solved all of these problems.
Yeah.
Which existing treadmills have.
No, it wouldn't, because if I'm running on the treadmill and an infant is under it and the tab is connected to me, But the press release was like, be sure that the immediate area is clear before using your Peloton. All the other companies defeat that by adding a piece of plastic. It's so simple.
True.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, there has to be a better way than a subscription every month.
So they can justify the subscription that they've always wanted.
Well, they have to pay for that guy in India that's watching the treadmill.
On the camera.
Watching you huff and puff on the treadmill.
Taking screenshots, posting them to subreddits. He's multitasking.
I'm really amazed with Bill's transformation. Look, just 2 hours a day. He's a whole different person.
They're making marketing materials without your permission. In Europe, at least, and hopefully soon to follow in the rest of the world, there is perhaps a little bit of light at the end of this awful shortage tunnel.
Following Europe, GPU pricing suggests the shortage is easing. Could also be something to do with those shipping containers coming in from China, because China's shutting down the mining operations literally everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody, I think this was on one of the crypto subreddits, came up with a chart, made a spreadsheet, and they looked at price per hash rate versus how the price is falling. And what they've discovered is lower tier cards are still your best value in terms of falling prices. Like a 3090 has not fallen very much at all. But we seem to be trending in that direction.
Nice.
So if you just look at this chart, obviously what's going on in this chart, right? Yeah. I love guys who get real nerdy with stuff like that for no reason. Google, they're still doing their flock thing. At least they're trying to. But nobody else wants to be a part of it. And they keep saying, it's like, guys, we're really going to do it. We really are.
We're serious this time.
No, really, we're going to do it. And everybody's like, you better not. And they're like, all right, we won't.
Google delays blocking third-party cookies in Chrome until 2023. Remember the flock thing? A lot of people don't want to be part of the flock, so...
And the big problem is this European agency that was like, we're not even sure that's legal. The CMA, Competition and Markets Authority in the UK. Oh, they're not European, I'm sorry. And they've said, we're not sure yet. So Google's announcement is like, well, we want to do this, but they might not let us.
So even after all they're pushing, they might not be able to legally do it anyway.
At least not in the UK.
Huh.
Yeah.
NFTs are still kind of hot. We actually sold our NFT for $80. Now, I had to spend $10 to mint it. I lost another $25 with bad copy and paste. And we're going to split it with the guy that created it. So I think we just barely managed not to lose money.
Nice.
But I suspect this will go for quite a bit more.
Yeah. Tim Berners-Lee defends auction of NFT representing the web's source code. He literally just created a picture of the source code, and that's it. That's all. That's all it is. It's not even the copyright of the source code.
We're paywalled. He had already done the art for a poster.
Yeah.
So he took, and I think it was one of those where the text was shaped like something. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I have a Linux poster like that.
it is a piece of art. You could certainly argue that it is a piece of art.
Yeah.
And that's what NFTs are supposed to be.
Yeah.
What do you think he'll get?
Probably about 100,000.
Maybe.
NFTs are kind of cooling off.
We mentioned in previous weeks, I think it was 2 weeks ago, that Facebook was taking the awful step of putting ads in your VR games.
Who's going to go first? And then everybody take a step forward, and then everybody step back.
Well, they had already chosen who was going to go first, and I imagine they had given them a pretty good sweetheart deal. It's like, you're going to be the first VR ad. Here's a pile of money. And they were like, yeah, we'll take that. And then the press release happened.
Facebook's first Oculus ad partner is already retreating, but one way or another, Facebook will get its ads.
Now, what they've done, they've faced a lot of backlash. A lot of people, because, and here, this is, I mean, this is really bad. These people had already purchased the game.
Yeah.
And they paid money for it.
Right.
So they were changing it after the fact. Now, EA and Activision have done that how many times?
Yeah.
But this is a small company. They got a lot of blowback. So what they've done, they haven't abandoned Facebook, but they've decided to move the VR trial to a free game that's ad-supported.
That's better.
I mean, it is better. But that's like saying being stabbed is better than being shot.
Yeah. Sure, you're more likely to survive, but at what cost?
Yeah, yeah.
We're going to have to get another VR headset and give it a spin.
I did enjoy VR.
Yeah, it's like, let's see how bad this is.
It makes me so nauseous. I can never.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I get so nauseous.
What devices have you tried?
The Oculus Rift.
Okay.
What game were you playing? Because I found that made a difference as well. Like, I couldn't play The Forest in VR.
It was just like super hot. I got
No, but
nauseous.
see, Super Hot has locomotion in the game. A lot of games try to avoid that.
Yeah.
Like Beat Saber was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Beat Saber is one of the ones where I didn't get, and I will hurl.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of search results, now, Krista, you're a big DuckDuckGo advocate, but I revealed to you last week that's just Bing.
I know. And then I was like, oh.
That's just microwaved Bing,
It's just
Krista.
painful.
That's what you're using. But maybe we now have a real second choice. Or
I've heard of this. I've heard of this.
Google gets a new rival as Brave Search opens to the public. About 32 million people now use Brave's ad-blocking browser each month. I'm honestly surprised that Brave isn't doing some kind of like distributed search engine or something like that to allow. It's like, hey, can Brave use a portion of your bandwidth and resources in the background to crawl the internet and send that data, process it a little bit and send that data somewhere?
And they are doing their very own index. Every other index is mostly just reselling. They're either taking Google's or Bing's and they're selling it to you. Yahoo, DuckDuckGo, all those, but not Brave. They're doing their own thing.
Except for images.
Images, yeah. They couldn't figure images out. So that's Microsoft.
I mean, I've actually used it before, and it feels a lot like Chrome. Like they looked at Chrome and was like, "Yeah, we want this."
You're talking about the browser.
Yeah.
This is a search engine.
Oh, just a search engine.
Yeah, just for
Sorry.
search. Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Same company though, and the same idea of like we're not going to spy on you when you're using this.
I feel like our next story should be Exhibit A in our new FCC Chair Rosenworcel's salvo to just go nuclear on the whole anti-competitive monopoly, local monopoly thing that we have for cable franchises.
You think a lot of people are tagging her on Twitter with this story?
You know what to do.
Oh, you know what? They don't promise anything, obviously, but maybe 3 to 6 months is my fiber build out.
Oh,
I'm
You're getting
so
close.
excited.
Yeah, I told you.
My little cell is yellow.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it to be blue. But I'm super excited about that because the great thing about gigabit fiber is you get a gigabit of upload. And compared to the tiny, meager amount that they give you now, it's like the ultimate freedom. But weirdly enough, some ISPs, they were offering quite a bit of upload, relatively, and they admitted themselves it didn't cause any disruption in the network, even during the pandemic.
We just want to make more money.
Yeah, when all the data went up during the pandemic, and they were like, no, our network is fine.
Yeah.
And yet...
Altus is reducing cable internet upload speeds by up to 86% next month. Altus cuts uploads from 35 megabit to 5 megabit to bring them, quote unquote, in line with other ISPs.
Wouldn't you want your company to be better?
No.
I mean, what business?
They're not competing with anybody.
No, that's true.
yeah. Monopoly.
So they have a gigabit plan for whatever it is. Now your upload on your gigabit plan went from like 50 megabit to like 15.
They had really generous. That's hard to read, but
940 megabit, 1 gig, and
from 35 to 5. So the 940 went from 50 to 35. So what you were getting by default is now the highest tier plan.
yeah.
It's disgusting.
Again, Exhibit A in destroy all ISPs, make it claw back the federal money. This probably should have been in security, but I thought it was more on business.
We are in business.
No, I mean, I put it in business, but it probably maybe should have been in security.
Security,
It could go
yeah.
in either one, because it's an old product that's not supported anymore.
I think it's more business.
Yeah, okay.
Because if you're thinking about how should I react to this, your reaction should be a business reaction in that you never do business with Western Digital ever again in your life.
I'm totally screwed. WD MyBook Live users wake up to find their data deleted. Storage Maker advises customers to unplug their MyBook Lives from the internet ASAP. So this is an old product. This is a product that's not supported anymore. Not really. The last update I had was in 2015.
But we should point out, it's certainly a product that you would expect to run autonomously for years and years and years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we don't know what the issue is. This could just be something weird.
Well, they have a pretty good idea here.
That is horrifying.
Yeah, it's like, oh, look at that. Network strip start. Oh, it's getting some PHP web stuff. Oh, some stuff's happening. Yeah, a lot of people, for some reason, think putting their NAS just directly on the internet is fine. And it can be okay if you take steps, but most people have no idea what they don't know, and it ends very badly on a long enough time.
Yeah, but when you got that 5 megabits of upload, what are you really going to use that for on the internet?
Somebody was trying to prep those for Chia mining.
So yeah, that's disgusting. And if you have one of those, run and just rip the cords out of it right now.
Just rip it.
Because it's probably already too late. And they've admitted, Western Digital's like, yeah, we're not getting any of that back. It's gone.
Yeah.
One person said,
Wow.
I had a decade of data and my life is ruined. It's like, you didn't even think about backing that up?
Should have been backing it up.
Yeah.
Who has a decade of data and doesn't back it up?
Well, these are old devices. I mean, some people, some of them, you can run those in like a mirror configuration. You know, again, RAID's not a backup, but you know, you can at least with those devices, it's pretty cool because you could guard against mechanical failure at least, not malicious intent.
Right.
And I don't think it's one attack. I think it's just the exploit was released.
Yeah.
And just randos are attacking you. Because one person said everything was deleted, and another person said that they got encrypted.
Huh. One of the people that was deleted, the directory structure was there, but all the files were gone.
Interesting. Well, I don't. This is moving on to social media. Do you have an idea of like how popular Clubhouse is? I feel like it was really popular at first, and then just sort of fell off a cliff.
I have no clue what that is.
So, listen to this. It's a crazy concept. It's an app that you can install on your phone, and then you can use voice on your phone.
Like Discord.
Or just the phone. Or just the phone.
But what is Clubhouse? What even?
I just told you can use your phone to talk to other people.
I was
group of
thinking
people,
like
though.
maybe this is a young person thing, but Amber is a young person and she doesn't know what it is, so clearly it's not popular with any age group.
I don't know. I might
Yeah.
just be out of touch.
It's a party line. Are you old enough to understand what a party line is?
Yes.
It's a party line of an app on your phone.
Oh, okay.
But Facebook has made their version, and they have one huge feature that's better than Clubhouse.
Facebook's Clubhouse competitor starts rolling out in the U.S. today. And are you talking about the fact that it integrates with everything Facebook? Because
No.
that's not.
Bigger groups. You can have an infinite sized. I mean, I'm sure there's a theoretical limit, but you can add as many people as you want to your Clubhouse.
What is the competitor? It just says the competitor. Like what is?
Clubhouse is the competitor. Facebook's is called something else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Live audio rooms.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what a great name.
Yeah, really rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
App that does things.
So you got that to look forward to. I thought that was kind of a cool idea when it first came out, but then after looking at it, I was like, nah, that's probably not for us. Also, I find that we've been doing this for several years, and we've gotten much better at it. We still talk all over each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that in that setting?
I mean, in Discord, like in some of the patron events and some of the other events where we, just having a small group of like 20 people, it ends up being all of that and crazy. I can't imagine. It's non-functional when you get much beyond 3 or 4 people.
Well, especially if you can't like see the other person, you have no sense of if they're gonna start talking to where you can say, "Oh, I need to like not speak."
But the delay over the team speak and stuff, it makes it impossible even if you can't see them.
Snapchat is the worst.
And Chris is 100 milliseconds behind us, and it's just bad.
Not wrong.
Now this one, I have to admit, when I saw the headline, I thought this is another MyPillow type of deal. But it seems like this guy might have a decent idea here.
Yeah.
In that he's saying, hey, we don't need another company. We need a standard protocol.
Yep.
Makes a lot of sense.
Real Estate Mogul has a $100 million plan to save the internet. It's Project Liberty centers on the construction of a publicly accessible database of people's social connections, allowing users to move records of their relationships between social media services instead of being locked into a few dominant apps. Instead of having this be a database, I would just go with a file format, and then that way you could cherry pick what's there and what's not. But
no, I think that's what they're doing, right? Because it's going to be like, it's just going to be another internet protocol.
Yeah, and Jack Dorsey's in on it. Because Twitter, that's what Jack Dorsey keeps saying. He's like, somebody come up with a decentralized Twitter and we'll be the first customer.
So instead of on Facebook, like you being involved with your Facebook friends, you're just involved with your friends. And your friends have this, protocol, and then if you go to a new social media, you just import your friends.
Do you think we'll ever see an internet, like Internet 4.0, that's powered by some kind of crypto or currency or something, and like your browser doing some compute generates tokens that make it to where other computers will give you the web page or the data that you're looking for?
Not without John McAfee.
Oh, rip in peace.
He was our last hope.
Not without John McAfee.
We will never see his like again.
I mean, that would be amazing if the whole internet ran on blockchain, but like the practical thing of that is that's like the dumbest thing I've ever said.
Yeah, but then how do you decentralize that? And what happens when somebody pulls down the most of it from China?
Yeah.
Amber, pronounce this country.
What? Where?
Pronounce the name of the country.
You do the headline.
Oh, why are you making me do this? You make me look like a fool.
No, we always get it wrong.
Because we don't know.
Facebook tried to ban Myanmar's military.
See, I don't know if it's Myanmar or Myanmar or Myanmar.
I think
I've heard Myanmar.
Myanmar, I think actually. Myanmar's military. But its own algorithm kept promoting pages supporting them, report says.
Yeah, so...
Now, if you didn't know, Myanmar, whatever it is, they had a little bit of a coup.
And that's still happening.
Yeah, the military is still in power, and the world does not support them.
It's weird we talk about that more than Hong Kong.
Rip Hong Kong.
That wasn't a coup. Oh no, that was crushing a coup. They were dissenting. They had to be controlled, obviously. But these guys are using social media. They are trying to do some hearts and minds campaigns. And Facebook, for example, doesn't want them to. Facebook's not on their side, but the algorithm is kind of got a mind of its own.
People always want to know what's going on. It's like, is my family still there?
Fatwa.
Yeah.
This isn't terrible.
Fatwa, I don't actually know where the emphasis goes on that word. But now a fatwa is different than a, what's the other word for the holy war that you declare? Jihad, yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't understand the difference.
Well, there goes the monetization.
Yeah, that's gone.
Do you understand the difference?
I do not know the difference.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Well, this is just this is like banning bad behavior, this is not unreasonable.
But this is just one guy calling for this. But he does have a lot of followers.
So a Bangladeshi Muslim cleric issues that thing prohibiting Facebook haha emoji. And he said haha is fine if you're just laughing at somebody. I mean, with somebody. But if you're laughing at somebody, it's not okay.
That seems reasonable because you don't want to be a jerk to someone.
If I post I just ate 5 McDonald's value meals, and I post that on Twitter, and you posted and you were like, oh my God, I love those, laughing face. And then Wendell posted, you're disgusting, and I'm laughing at you, laughing face. His would be violating, yours would not.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's intent.
I was confused because I thought it was like all emoji haha uses.
It's a lot of words to say be nice to each other.
Yeah, okay, I see.
Yeah, the headline is kind of bait, but the actual context kind of clarifies it.
I see.
Guess what the number one response to that post was?
That.
Derisive laughing emoji.
Oh,
No. Were they able to like combat that and like?
It's not actually illegal. This guy, he doesn't have any actual power, political power, I don't think. But he's just saying that, Allah is saying to do this. So that you should follow this.
this is like the equivalent of like a pastor being like, "Don't make fun of each other."
Yeah.
Oh,
the guy's
because
name
there's-
was Amadullah.
He has one name, like Cher.
Amadullah Amblagada.
Oh, that's fun to say.
It is
It's really fun to say.
Someone's gonna say Wendell said it wrong. But
Someone should name their child that.
That's really fun.
All right, what do we got lined up for Friday? I've got the last third of this thing is ready to go.
Friday is the classic robot nonsense.
yeah, that's my
Not-
favorite section.
Not robot nonsense, robot, nonsense.
Well, we'll see you Friday. And man, it's really driving us insane that we can't tell you all about those UFO stories from last Friday. Oh,
Oh, so good.
I can't
not released
contribute anything to the news with like my knowledge of things, but I can at least like vast in like the ridiculousness of the stories themselves.
nonsense is a lot of fun that everybody can enjoy.
Yeah, everyone loves nonsense.
I'll excel in Friday's news.
Oh,
Those are feel-good stories.
somebody's confident.
We have to feel good because what else
I
is
don't
there?
feel great. Krista.
Should I do a bye?
Oh,
Bye.
dueling buys?
Oh yeah, harmonization. That's
Oh.
what a note to end on.
Hello, and welcome back to the Level 1 News. Today is July 2nd, and today we're doing the classic combo of robot and nonsense for the end of the week.
Oh yeah.
And we have the
Oh, hey,
last appearance of Amber.
Oh,
As she
very
is,
last.
she's betrayed us. And as of
She's dead to
tomorrow,
us.
she
I've
will
shared
be
company
dead.
secrets.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding. I have not.
So if you see her, hiss and just like shy away from it.
But we've got a replacement lined up, so we're good.
And let's talk about some robots. The only kind of robot mostly in the news these days is artificial intelligence. Is AI really a robot? I'm not even going to debate it with you. They always go in this section. And this one is taking care of some things that maybe a lot of people don't care about, but if you need it, you really, really need it.
DeepMind uses AI to tackle neglected deadly diseases.
That is, do you know what kind of bug that is? I'm not going to show you. Anybody?
I didn't know until I read the caption.
Man, I don't.
It's an assassin bug.
Oh, that's
Ugh.
right.
It's a what?
Assassin bug.
Can
Look
you
at that badass.
Can you give me a little synopsis of like that? Sounds deadly. It has the word assassin in it.
No, you give him money and he will kill your enemies.
I'd never heard of Chagas disease either.
Yeah. I think is it Chagas? Chagas? Engagement challenge. Do you have Chagas disease? But yeah, apparently this is not a disease that gets a lot of headlines and a lot of funding dollars. So they don't really have a team to put on this, but hey, they got a robot.
And this is not DeepMind's first foray into things medical. They've actually found a lot of really interesting. There's links to other articles, and they found a lot of other interesting stuff with DeepMind. This is the one that originally learned how to play Go better than human players.
Is that Australia?
With novel strategies.
These are not party favors. These are proteins.
It
And
looks
that's-
like Australia.
That's
not
what
Australia.
that's what the AI is going to take care of.
I think this is cool.
Yeah, it could be good.
Then we get to the serious side effects portion of the article.
We're going to just like AI is going to present us with this amazing thing, and it's like it cures AIDS, and then everybody's going to be cured of AIDS, and then it's like, by the way, there's some side effects. And
Yeah, but-
everybody's like, what?
What?
Chagas disease sounded really bad.
Yeah.
Like I think
Yeah.
I'd go for some side effects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I'm only gonna have liquid coming out of me in every hole from now on. I don't care. Yeah, let's just take care of the Chagas.
Yeah.
Krista, you are an art snob. How do you feel about
Little.
Rembrandt?
I like Rembrandt. I like his use of light. I like how his contrast in his pieces is always really well done.
Well, then this should excite you.
Yeah, AI helps restore Rembrandt's Night Watch masterpiece.
Ooh.
This is a very prominent painting in his catalog.
It's
Usually
very
you
large.
study this quite a bit. Yeah.
And you got knifed. It survived several stabbings.
So these guys defended us from the Nightwalkers, or or the White Walkers? I'm sorry.
Oh, we don't talk about season 8.
So
We don't
yeah,
talk about season 8.
as you point out, they were trying to get this through a door at one point. And what level of like was it just the haulers that made that decision?
What level of haphazard?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I can't imagine somebody at the top being like, "Oh, the Rembrandt, yeah, just chop it up,
That's fine.
just make some cuts on it." So I don't know. I guess it's like this outside piece was missing, and they've put it back, and they've used AI to reproduce his style.
Interesting. That's interesting.
He's well known for like his contrast between light and dark and like how well he threads that needle. So that would be difficult to do, and it's cool that an AI could do it.
That is
Yeah.
a big painting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
massive.
it's huge.
It's human size.
That's really
You know,
cool.
remember last week when we were talking about something last week that had something to do with the museum, and I asked the question, what stops people from just going in there and attacking the paintings? And they mentioned that one of Rembrandt's paintings was attacked.
Yeah.
The guy attacked it with a butter knife.
Yeah.
That was a couple hundred years ago, I thought. No, there was one in the 90s. The guy in the 90s sprayed it with a chemical. And then there was another guy that attacked it with a butter knife, like, some time ago.
It'd be interesting to know what their punishment was.
You know, I found a pure silver butter knife in the walls here when we were doing the renovations, and it's like, how did that even happen?
No, there's vampires in this building.
A pure
giving you a
silver
warning.
butter knife
Yeah.
in
or
the wall.
could be werewolves.
Yeah,
Could
it was
go
like
either way.
it was like the fine china, you know.
Maybe that's why there's so many dead birds in the building.
Somebody was definitely fighting a cursed and or undead enemy in this building.
It was
That's what
oddly heavy.
That's crazy. This place has like new things, new secrets and stuff every time you go
Well,
like
A
exploring.
significant number of the walls have been opened, and that's the only piece of silverware I've found. So it's even more of a mystery.
Is there some old, superstition about putting a piece of silver in the walls or something like that? I bet there is.
I'm sure the comments will
Engagement
light it up.
There you go.
Engagement.
And why a butter knife?
So that when you're dead and haunting the building, you can still butter things.
And it was the old style butter knife, which is like L-shaped. It's got like one curved thing, and it's like a flat. It's almost like a cake server because you would carve off a large piece of butter, and then it's not like a modern butter knife.
Well, you do like polite things as a ghost. Like they sit their toast down and then you butter it, and they turn around. They're like, I didn't think I buttered that. You just help them instead of haunt them.
Yeah,
But
it's more akin to a ladle than a knife, really.
Wouldn't that undermine your sanity? Well, we talk a lot about algorithms used in healthcare, and it's almost always painted in a positive light. They seem to be doing some really good things. They don't cost a lot.
It augments our human workers, which are taking good care of us.
Although it might be replacing them in some cases. I guess you could argue about that.
Yeah.
But this kind of story makes you worry because, is anybody checking the work of the AI?
No.
Yeah.
A hospital algorithm designed to predict a deadly condition misses most cases. A new study found that it also had many false alarms.
Oh no.
Sounds like the holographic banana problem all over again.
Oh,
This was for
no.
sepsis, which is like a full body infection. So it's pretty serious. You can die from it.
And it's something
No.
that can develop in the hospital stay quite often.
I saw something on Reddit not long ago, which was I don't remember where it was, but it was like if you see these brands of hospital equipment, they're not willing to spend the money necessary to get good equipment. So don't stay in that hospital. Don't trust anything. They're not updating their equipment. But if you see these brands, that's better equipment. And it's like that's something I really need to commit to long-term memory.
I bet if you call your insurance company and tell them that, they'll be like, "Oh, sure, you just go over go to any place you want. Yeah, that's fine. Out
Yeah,
of network,
I'll pay
that's
for
fine. Yeah,
Now that you've given us
because you definitely have
Proper
choice
argument.
in that.
Yeah.
It's not like you're being corralled into a slaughterhouse.
when I think about AIs like that, things mutate and become different than right. So they wouldn't necessarily always have the same symptoms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to become a weird battleground.
Yeah.
God, I'm glad I don't work at a hospital.
I actually experienced a little bit of this week. I got a tick
no.
bite last week, and so I noticed it starting to get kind of itchy, and it was turning a little red. So I went to the clinic, and the lady basically just read off of a Wikipedia page,
You are going to die. No.
and she was like, "Well, we can do this series of tests, but I'll probably just put you on doxycycline, which is an antibiotic in case you do have Lyme." But she was basically just reading it, and I was like, "Oh, is the computer actually diagnosing me right now? Is that what's happening?"
Should I have went to WebMD?
I think
Yeah, and just done this myself.
I think the AI would probably be better at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like
Yeah. It was weird experience.
That's a big thing about, like, I don't deal with modern healthcare much, but one of the most terrifying things I think about it is, like, you go to the doctor and the doctor spends 5 minutes looking at you and then sends you to someone with no training to do the rest of it.
Yeah. And just gives them like this haphazard, like, I don't know. I feel like it's not enough time maybe to accurately go over all the bases.
Yeah, definitely.
I couldn't diagnose a computer in that amount of speed.
Well, it's an interesting device for sure, but this is one of those situations where I have to question if, like, are they really doing this, or is this one of those Theranos things where it's just the Indian guy? Like, on one screen he's got the 7-Eleven that he's monitoring, on the other screen he's got this.
Tech sees AI can recognize devices and guide users through setup. So it's like you use your phone to hold this, and it's like, okay, you got your cables in the wrong places. You need to do this or move that or whatever.
We need this for the KVMs.
Oh my gosh.
But see, I don't know if the AI is really actually doing that much here.
It seems like it wouldn't. How is there a concrete way of? I don't know.
Well, they have to have a record for every one of these devices.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how often the problem goes away when you can just do screen sharing. It's like, just don't even tell me what the problem is. Just let me see your screen. Let me drive.
Yeah, they're kind of doing that. I mean, it's supposed to be the robot, but again, I don't buy that it's just a robot.
Probably not.
No. Yeah. This is one of the more dystopian stories that we've ever done, and this could easily just go in the tech section, but I had to put it in the nonsense section because it is nonsensical.
Canon uses AI cameras that only let smiling workers inside the office.
What?
They need a duress mode. It's like, if there's someone with you and you're winking, call for security.
If there's a knife in the frame. But you don't want that in the building, do you?
But, like, if something happens and someone needs, and they're, like, wanting to get in, and what if it doesn't detect you as a smile? What if
his mouth is smiling, but his eyes aren't happy?
Like, what if it just doesn't detect it, you know?
Denied.
So they have this whole corporate policy of, like, you need to be happy, you need to be positive, and the name of it is just, like, this means nothing. This is absolutely just word salad nonsense.
The corporate culture of moving and always being.
When am I not always being? I have no choice. I hate being sometimes.
Those words
you do have a choice.
Those words connected together is just like a stream of consciousness. I don't get any meaning from them being together. You know what I'm saying?
They're gonna clarify it for you. It advocates the concepts of laughing and big health. Big health sounds like a Trump thing, doesn't it?
Big health?
Yeah.
Doesn't
big health for everybody.
Not small health, but big.
Sounds like an idiocracy thing.
What?
So yeah, that's a real thing, and you really do have to smile. And I think during your whole workday, you are expected to play along with their insane corporate policy.
Someone should go like feminazi on their ass and be like, the thing's telling me to smile. How dare you?
This is a great quote from somebody, a ballsy individual on Chinese social media, saying that they're not only manipulating our time, but also our emotions.
Eloquent.
There are 4 lights. That's what we're talking about there. I think we talked about this last week, right?
We talked about this could possibly happen.
Yeah, and it is very impressive. I would love to know what corners they cut, wouldn't you? Because they cut some corners, but it's visually, you can't tell what it is.
Hyundai acquires Boston Dynamics, company most famous for its robot police dogs.
They're a little smaller. Oh, wait.
This is not the story you thought it was.
Oh! Wow.
Whoops.
So this is the real dogs.
Yes.
The full price ones.
Hyundai bought them.
So the question here is, what is Hyundai going to do with robot dogs?
What do they want with that?
Well, they saw what Honda had, and they said, well, we also start with H, so we must have the robots.
We also start with H?
Also, I guess this is the new model. This looks kind of like the Predator, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it.
He does.
They've had the video of this one, like, unloading boxes and stuff like that, and Corridor Digital did a version of this one with that one, like, doing judo and kickboxing and stuff.
If you are at Boston Dynamics or Hyundai, and you're a part of the marketing department, you should just stop marketing entirely. Your whole, the entire marketing department should resign en masse if you don't hire Arnold Schwarzenegger to fight this thing. How huge would that be?
Yeah. I mean, his time is probably a pretty penny, but, you know.
That's worth it.
They're really worried about the negative connotations around Rock'em Sock'em governor.
This is what I was talking about earlier.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Unitree's Go 1 robot dog looks pretty good. It costs just US $2,700. That's an incredibly low. We can afford that. We couldn't afford the other robot, but we can afford this one.
So the other
Whoa.
one, this starts at 2,700. The decent one is, what was it, like 3,200 or something like that?
35, I think.
3,500
Yeah.
for the decent one.
And the 8,500 one is the one we don't need.
Compare that to the entry level spot, which is
75,000.
75,000, and for like the decent spot, it's over 100.
What does the robot dog, I mean, what is, you get the enjoyment of, like, the serotonin boost of having a dog, but without having to clean up after it? Is that it?
Maybe, but in the video, there's just like it's carrying his water and just doing other random stuff.
Well,
It's just to be there. It's just to be cute, right?
well, no. The thing they point out about it is that companies like Hyundai will tell you that they're going to do a lot of cool things with this. What they actually do is use it for surveillance and crowd control and stuff like that. It's actually a very militant thing.
Yeah.
Like they've used these to hassle homeless people who are in places they don't want them to be.
Imagine the Indian speaker guy on one of those.
Yeah.
He can follow you, yeah.
Oh, no.
It's like, oh, there's a scratching at the door. Is that? Wait, I'm at work. This is the bathroom. Oh, I've been in here too long. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm not sure why these people did this. I guess this is just to prove that it can be done because this has never been done autonomously. But the whole Mayflower tie-in, I don't understand why they did
Headlines. AI-powered Mayflower, beset with a glitch, has returned to England. Was trying to take the same route that the original Mayflower did in 1680 whatever.
that. And apparently the original Mayflower also had to come back a few times because those ships were not very well built. Maybe that's part of matching the magic. Screw something up the first time.
We didn't even intend for that to be like that, and that happened.
But this thing is going to be the first robot to cross the Atlantic. There is no crew. That's why it had to come back. Nobody there to fix it.
It noticed a failure and was like, gotta go back to my people. Fix me, please.
Please
See, if
fix
they
me.
had the robot dog on there, could have gone to fix it. Just saying.
You think he's good with tools? He's only got those little like round nubs.
Yeah.
His
I'm
little
sure they've got one of
nubs.
those hands because Boston Dynamics has the arm.
He's trying to operate a screwdriver.
He has little attachments for his hands that he can use.
And then what if the boat never shows up? And all of a sudden the telemetry gets unplugged. And now you've got a rogue dog and boat traveling around. It's like Airwolf.
Amelia Earhart boat.
That was what was missing from the South African Bitcoin story. That was their escape boat.
All the guys that took off. Yeah. Do you think the dog was involved?
Yeah, the dog put the boat back on course, and so it went back to England, and now they're stranded in the ocean.
What will his reward be?
We're so
The
enlightened right
cryptocurrency?
now.
You think he snacks on cryptocurrency like dog treats?
Oh,
This one, I read this headline and I thought this is just more nonsense. But when you get down to it and you see with the current thing that we're
You dig
using,
into it, and it's like, ugh.
it might be a little lacking.
Yeah. Exclusive. Google searches for new measure of skin tones to curb bias in products. So this sounds insane. It sounds completely insane. But they're looking to algorithmically track this, and depending on what skin tones there are, it's going to apply more and more bias to try to offset the bias in the data set.
But here's the thing. The classic one, the classic skin tone scale, which is apparently from the 70s, has 7 Caucasian skin tones and 1 black one and 1 brown one. So
Really?
Not a lot of nuances there. They've had to develop a new kind of scale, I guess, for skin tones, which,
Right.
okay, I mean, yeah. I
that's
think
fair, yeah.
it's so funny because you think about, you know how they talk about cultures like the Inuits and stuff like that, where they have 500 words for snow, but 1 skin color for them?
It's like the Family Guy gag. Remember that? He had the color palette with the Border Patrol, and it was like, okay, not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The new palette is literally what Google is designing. Now, the fact that Google is designing the new palette,
But also like changing how much compensation bias they apply. It's like, we're training this algorithm to do whatever, and we're going to try to nudge the results to be more this way depending on what the palette is. It's like, garbage in, garbage out, Google. Garbage in, garbage out.
There's a lot of lawsuits going on about schools that are doing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, people have been like, no, you were literally discriminating against me because I'm the majority. Isn't that the same thing? And they're like, nope, go away. This one, now you read the headline and you're like, oh, that's scary. And then they explain to you how, no, it's not scary. It's helpful. But just a few lines of code.
There's a couple things missing from the story, too.
A few lines of code may turn this into a helpful, fun robot to a death, it's a human-seeking death bomb. Yeah.
Scientists are using drones to hunt down human screams. So it's like you're jogging alone at night, you just have to scream, and then the police drones surround your area looking, with video surveillance. And
that's not the use case they described. They described you being trapped somehow.
Oh.
You remember the guy that was trapped in the dinosaur?
Yeah.
He could have been saved. By a drone.
He could have also had one of those robot dogs come after him too.
Or people would be like,
had to give theirs back.
People would be like, why are the drones hovering around the dinosaur? They must be broken.
It's like vultures, except the vultures know the body's there. That's what farmers used to do. Is like, oh, there's something wrong. The vultures are circling overhead, and they would find a lamb or a cow or something that got off the path and stuck in something.
But here's the thing about this: if you can make it track screams, then you could also make it track like whispered voices coming from one of the non-vaccinated caves.
Certain languages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could happen.
I mean, okay, so the idea behind it is that it is to help someone who otherwise would not have help. Is that it?
It's basically roaming and always observing in case something goes wrong.
Yeah,
That
imagine
seems
like
kinda
there was an
terrifying.
earthquake.
Yeah. Or
don't
you could
know
send it into like the condo that just fell down, right?
Yeah.
So they have hundreds of people are still missing. You could have drones, just sweeping the area, and if they hear anything, then they could go to that and bring rescue to it.
That seems really good, yeah.
But remember Afghanistan when all those people were in caves and they were like striking out against us from the caves? Do you think maybe the military adjusts this a little bit?
I mean, that's not even probably an hour of work.
No, not at all. And they're cheap. And if you put the thermobarics on it at the mouth of a cave, nothing survives.
Yeah.
So look forward to that. Krista, you've given up on van life, and it turns out that you had the greatest opportunity that anybody has ever had to transition into van life, and you squandered it.
Don't forget not to say the word.
But not everybody's like you.
As offices shut down for the thing, workers bought vans and hit the road, and some don't want to return.
I can just do my work from the van.
I have a relative who may be doing this soon.
What a life. That would be...
They're doing bus life, though.
So I find it difficult to believe, because they say that you just drive around and you find public wireless spots to use.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get any work done on a public wireless. Could you? No.
You at least need Starlink.
So
McDonald's, the local McDonald's here, is taking to shutting their connection down every 3 minutes for 1 second because of people parking in their parking lot and using the wireless.
Yep.
that does look like this looks like they're about to have a good time. I would enjoy that scene probably for about 10, 15 minutes.
That'd be bored.
And then I'd be like, can we play
now
some
there's
video games?
mosquitoes.
Yeah.
I'd be like, so we're sitting here on dirt,
Sand.
sand.
Look, Krista, this could be you.
Yeah, that could be you.
They could be
Krista.
doing a story about you.
Just hanging out in a van somewhere.
Living your best life, Krista.
Probably be fun for about a month, and then it would be like, I'm ready for a shower now.
Yeah, it'd be fine for I think vacationing, but I don't think I could do it full time just because I'm a tall person and there's not a lot of room in vans.
I don't think I could do it either.
I don't want to do it. I could.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd
it's
be unhappy.
possible, but
I would be searching for an exit from van life. Krista, I know that you have a lot of anticipation, hesitance, fear when it comes to the drought.
yeah.
You're definitely
well, I mean,
assuming...
it's probably not going to be here, but
Oh yeah, there's a knock-on effect though.
Yeah.
If there are refugees, we're going to experience it.
Okay, I'll read the headline. California's historic drought is causing drinking water to taste like dirt. Officials say, just add lemon.
I can't remember the exact name of what's in it.
We pulled so much water out of the aquifers
Yeah.
that it's harmless, but yeah, it does have more of a dirt taste.
Yeah, so I read this entire article, and I don't think they exactly said what it was. It was just like, yeah, it just kind of naturally tastes like it.
Geosmin?
Yeah.
So this is a natural thing. It's always in the water, but as the water drains, the geosmin doesn't. It's not diluted at all.
It settles at the bottom.
So you have high concentrations because you're almost out of water.
I'm really confused as to how the lemon interacts with it in a way to make it go away.
It neutralizes it. Also, I think just like sunlight or cold will also do it.
We had well water growing up, which tended to be kind of basic. It was basic heavy. So adding a little splash of something like lemon juice, you wouldn't even taste the lemon, but it really helped out a lot.
It's the same concept of a water softener. That's
what I was gonna ask. I was gonna say, is it anything acidic or is it like lemon juice particularly?
It's not really the water; it's the other stuff in the water.
I think it probably bonds to it or something. It turns into something else.
My thing reading this article was like, taste does not seem to be nearly the biggest issue here. The issue is you have so little water that it's getting down to like the last dregs, and everyone's like, it's fine.
Yeah, well, how about this? I mean, not only are we getting low on water, but I don't think a lot of people consider the last 20% of water is not at all like the first 20% of water.
Right, it's not, yeah.
And I'll just take this time to point out that California has the world's largest water desalination plant, and another one is getting ready to come online.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, what else are you going to do? Got to get it from somewhere. Turns out we need it. This is, we do these stories all the time. It just gets crazier and crazier, though. Like the language police. And this university, they're definitely toward the top.
Massachusetts Brandeis, is that how you say that? University lists policemen, congressmen, the words policeman and congressman on the oppressive language list.
Oh, because man is in it?
Right, yeah. What about rule of thumb? Do you know why rule of thumb?
Shouldn't say rule of thumb because that was slavery.
No.
And you also don't say bring home the bacon.
Rule of thumb was you're not supposed to beat your wife with a branch that's bigger than your thumb.
Oh, okay. I thought it was beat a slave with it.
No, it's your wife.
Okay.
Neither are good, but
yeah, neither are good. So
how about walk-in appointments?
How is that bad?
Because not everybody can walk.
Oh, right.
Ableist. Here's a couple more that I guarantee you will not get. Long time no see.
Long time.
It's broken English. It's foreign. Like an Asian person might have said long time no see because they did not know how to say I've not seen you in a long time.
That seems kind of racist in a different way, though, assuming that.
Petulant? You think petulant might be the word? Also, trigger warning, because I guess that's just like anything to have to do with a gun has to be excluded.
Yeah.
Oh, and picnic, they didn't explain picnic. What's wrong with picnic?
I don't know. I feel like most things have some crazy or bad origins. Like
etymology.
Christmas trees. I don't know. You can find anything that's like
picnic. Problem in chair, not in computer.
Yeah, but why would that be offensive?
Because that means someone's dumb.
I guess that could be. I don't think that's why they did it. I do want to try to look up why picnic is offensive.
I mean,
what is the alternative to picnic too?
Outside eating fest.
Food
also, they
outing?
mention regional dialects. They say you guys is oppressive, but y'all is not.
Because guys.
Oh.
Yeah, guys.
You got to think on a lot of different levels here, Krista.
I was thinking is y'all some sort of those poor Appalachians, they're just too poor and stupid. That was where I was going.
We're never going to teach
awful.
them. We're never going to teach them, so just let them say it.
How are we going to preserve our Appalachian heritage?
You're not.
Aren't we trying
Listen to us all
that?
code switching.
These stories are always fun just because the reason that this one got a lot of attention is because some TikTok influencer happened to be standing here as this went down.
And this was Japan. Emergency crew rescues a sex doll after mistaking it for a drowning woman.
I just want to say, she looks nothing like a drowning woman. Look at that. It's obviously fake.
From a distance. I mean, because a drowning body is going to be like really waterlogged. And
Yeah.
It's not going to look like a regular human. I agree. Now, in this one, it looks like there's a head, right? Is that fair?
Yeah. So they actually got it out.
But
Yeah.
there's no head here, right?
Disintegrated.
I think it's behind. I think it flopped over
Oh.
from like maybe water filling it up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Scary.
This was Japan has really strict policies on like littering, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting that it even made its way there.
Do you think it was thrown away on purpose, or is there some sort of mishap that
A
happened?
boating mishap. She was also supposed to be on the boat for McAfee. I'm piecing it together from the headlines.
You're
y'all.
piecing it together.
We've almost got a clear picture of what happened.
I remember we talked about this when it first happened.
Yes.
Because it was a social media stunt.
I think we all agreed this was going to end badly.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we all predicted that we wouldn't want to do it. But it seems that they also did not want to do it. But they did go all the way to the end. Did you figure out what the incentive was for them to complete it? Did they get paid something?
I don't know.
I don't know why they did it.
Couple handcuffed together for 123 days, immediately break up. They're done with each other. It's like, let's make sure we're really done with each other. They handcuffed themselves together. And I was following along with this, and then it was like, oh, she did like manicures and
Eyelashes.
eyelashes and stuff like that. He was standing over her while she was working at work. So, and customers found that creepy, so she got fired. And it's like,
Krista, how would you feel if you went to the salon and she was just like, oh, this is my boyfriend. He's handcuffed to me.
And their hand is at the wrist. So she's like putting on eyelashes on clients, and his hand is right next to your eye, too.
Yeah. Like
know.
she's working on your hair and his hand's on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Oh no! I don't understand. I just accept at some point that I'll never understand. But this is just what.
I want to live my own independent life and grow as an independent person, she revealed to the public.
They did mention that they did this on some kind of social media, but they had like less than 10,000 followers. It was not a big undertaking.
Why? So why 100? Well, wait. Why 123 days? Was that what it was?
since Valentine's Day.
Yeah, that's just. I don't have words for like the level of.
I have a possible title for this week's episode based on this story.
Okay.
Sounds like it might get us in trouble. But, Krista, we love to talk about black holes because you're scared of them
Right.
irrationally.
I don't want to be spaghettified, okay?
Well, we do know that they can destroy almost anything. I mean, they are a powerful force. We've learned that they can teleport.
Yeah.
We've learned that they can seek you out and travel large distances. But what we
Hurtle
didn't
through
know
space.
was that they were just rife with systemic racism.
Cornell course teaches black holes could be linked to racial blackness.
I don't even.
Is this just bait? This kind of feels like this is bait.
Absolutely. This is
Okay.
just somebody trying to get their name out there. Now, let's go ahead, in case some of you don't know in the audience, the reason a black hole is black has to do with light, not melanin.
Yeah.
The title of this week's episode is Absence of Light Holes.
Let's just let that.
I was wondering if the whole story was bait. But I looked up, there is a class at Cornell.
Yeah.
The name of the class is Black Holes, Race, and the Cosmos.
The light has gone holes.
That's.
The good title that we cannot use
I wasn't going to say that one.
is All Holes Matter.
Are you sure you can't use that?
I don't think
We will get demonetized for that for sure.
Yeah, we have to be very careful about what titles we use.
We might get targeted by the cancel police for that one.
That's hilarious.
Human beings are living longer and longer, and it's leading to more and more terrifying end-of-life scenarios.
Yeah.
I think dementia is really just basically, you've been here too long.
Yeah.
And it's not just us, because when we control the lives of animals, we also extend them for many, many more years than they would be in the wild. This guy would have been a snack years ago.
Elderly zoo penguin gets with arthritis gets shoes to provide relief. Elderly zoo penguin, there's a video here. You can watch him waddle
That's so
around
cute.
on his little shoes.
See, there's no picture, so you have to show the
you
video.
gotta watch
Does
the
it
video.
actually help?
Yeah, well, I mean, they can't really ask him, but they've been monitoring him, and they've seen him moving around more, and not lagging behind the other penguins quite as much. And he doesn't wear them all day. In the morning, they wake him up, they put him on, and then at night they take him back off before he goes to bed.
Yeah, well, you gotta let his feet breathe.
Enrique.
The vet said mom's cat probably has arthritis.
Is that that might be the penguin's name from Happy Feet? That is that breed of penguin?
Oh, I don't know.
I can't remember that penguin's name, but
That's kind of ironic, isn't it? Because his feet are anything but happy. Crunchy feet.
Oh.
That's the sequel, the much-awaited sequel.
I put a note in the Discord so we can remember that for a title for next week.
Bloated feet.
anything but Happy Feet.
And the housing market, it continues to be just insane.
Spiraling out of control.
I love to throw in, and in Canada, I mean, it's bad here, but in Canada, they've lost all sense of reason.
Toronto, a house is selling for $500,000, smells so bad it might be hard to view it.
Wow.
This is a garage that has had a room built over it, but they never finished. It doesn't really flood correctly, and they dug out part of the foundation, so there's kind of a basement, but not really.
I don't think it mentioned, how many square feet you think this is?
900.
Maybe 700? Yeah.
700, something like that.
So they blame the smell, or they surmise that smell might be coming from a cat, but I didn't get an idea of, like, is that a dead cat?
Is it living and pissing everywhere?
Yeah, a cat that just ran loose, and one of the bedrooms doesn't have a floor. Yeah, so I mean...
500,000?
Yeah.
They didn't even go through with the weed eater before they took the real estate pictures.
There's no inside pictures, which tells you everything you need to know about that property.
Being a realtor in Toronto must be the easiest thing in the universe. Yeah. Right?
This is just mind-blowing to me.
If you're a realtor in Toronto, you pick up the phone and you're like, well, it's not currently on fire. Do you want it?
I mean, that's... Wow.
Can we have an inspection? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. You just say, like, you just go in blind. They're like, no. Just agree, and then you can go in and see it.
And our final story is a bit tragic, but it has a happy ending. And it shows that even in the animal kingdom, you can go too far when you're enjoying your meals and have catastrophic consequences from that.
Aquarium shark receives underwater surgery for prolapsed rectum. So he's doing fine. Everything went well. The surgery went well. This is a nurse shark, somewhat ironically. And
he just decided to go too hard on just too many fish, particularly hungry that day. And I guess it, didn't process correctly.
In this aquarium, I have nothing else to be happy for. Let me die. And then they're like, no, we got you.
It said he defecated too hard.
No.
And that's what caused the problem.
All been there.
Oh, no.
Also, a 2.6 meter long shark. What size was that defecation? It must have been really impressive.
It was like a brown crayon store.
I've never thought about that. What does shark poop look like? I'm looking that up.
Is it like fish where it's just like a string from their body?
No, it had to have enough structure to get jammed up.
He needs some fiber.
Too much
There's
fiber.
no pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Maybe is this...
Are we really Googling shark?
There's like a tiny
I
video.
did.
Matter, right?
Yeah, there's a video. You can go watch.
There's
I didn't.
There's a pair of hands here, and I can't really tell what's going on.
I don't even know what that is.
They do have to do all this underwater, so I imagine it's hard to film.
And the shark was anesthetized, so...
Well, we should hope.
Oh, my God.
Do you think there was any blood?
Oh.
Sharks.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Wake up and it's like, that's me.
It's funny. I don't remember, running into anything sharp.
It smells delicious in here.
No,
why
it's
is everyone
me.
following me?
What are they doing with that knife? Yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. That's so funny.
All right, Amber, you got some last words for us? this terrible life chores that you're about to make.
We could use 3 editors. It's fine.
If you decide corporate life is not for you.
I don't know.
Do you have your corporate friendly clothing all picked out for next week?
They're actually not that strict about it.
Well, that's
good.
I'm never going there again.
Well, I asked them and they were like, something with a collar? Question mark? He didn't even know.
You should show up in like full BDSM.
Like a dog collar.
Yeah, spike collar.
It's
Where do we get started, guys? Where's my desk?
I don't know. I'm really gonna miss level 1 and like
Well, we'll always be here.
I really like the atmosphere.
Maybe not.
I don't know. I really like the atmosphere and I really like how nice everyone is to me, and I hope that like people are not so mean to me at my other job or anything. But I think everyone seems really, really nice, really friendly, and they really seem like they'll be okay to work with, which is my main like. I don't want to be miserable while I'm there. I think it'll be fine. But I'll miss level 1 and the atmosphere, and then people replying back to me in the comments and being like, "You did a great job." I'm like, "Thank you. I really appreciate that." I tried really hard.
Well, it was awesome. So.
Yes. Thank you for your service, your years of service.
Thank you for your service.
All right. We'll see you next week. Except you.
Yeah. Bye. Forever.
Bye.
Bye. Forever.